Hello everyone, welcome. Oh my goodness, this episode today. Sorry for the delay, chat room. It is awesome to be here, episode 22, which is the season finale, the first season of Final Boss TV. Year in review, we're gonna talk about Mist of Pandaria and tons of other things. I don't even know. The show notes apparently totally baffled Koltrane, but that's who is one of the guests on the show tonight. The other is going to be the one and only Brutall Static. And we were going to go over a ton of different little things. Anna is piping in from Honduras, so she apologizes for not being on camera or in chat, but it's going to be amazing nevertheless. So, let's go around and see who's actually here. And... Anna, hello, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hey,
awesome.
guys.
How is it over there right now? Please, you are
It
a
is
vast...
pretty amazing. I did, today... It was the very first day that I went diving, and I did like a catch-up dive this morning. So it was basically like a teaching dive. So they retaught us how to do it. And then I went on. I should have skipped the second dive because then I might have been able to hook the internet up for the show. But I went on it anyway, and I took about 1,000 pictures, and I'll try to get those up as soon as possible. But it's pretty incredible. I'm sorry that I don't have good enough internet to do the webcam, and I might cut out here. If I do, then I'm sorry in advance.
It's
but
okay.
I really wanted to be here for the show.
You'll connect right back. You are a beautiful picture of an epic reef right now, and your other picture, the chat room will see momentarily. It's totally okay.
That's probably Bonaire, which is where I went diving in 2008. So that's
awesome.
the last time I've been diving. It's the only other time I've been diving in my life. So.
Amazing. It should be fine. And then you heard him a little bit earlier. The Asparagus Warrior himself is joining us tonight, Mr. Koltrane. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Bay. It's very good to be here.
Absolutely.
On Final Boss. This is awesome. I appreciate you having me.
No, it should be a fun episode. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I bumped into this handsome gentleman at BlizzCon, and it was amazing. The Convert to Raid party you guys had was epic.
Yes, you got to meet Ghostcrawler. That was great. And then you met me later. You know, so
okay.
It was excellent.
Oh.
But I'm very excited. So you were wondering earlier
Almost, but not quite as good.
That's right.
Oh, yep.
You're wondering about a fortune cookie, and, well, I thought I'd throw one your way that you will undoubtedly hate, and it goes a little something like this. Fortune cookie say, one Tauren spying on another Tauren is called a stakeout. You see, it's stakeout. Hey, you like that? All right. Somebody actually digs
Perfect.
the fortune cookie. All right.
Perfect. That's good stuff.
I appreciate it.
And then...
To be here, this is going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it.
No, it's going to be awesome. Thank you very much, sir. And from his evil lair, the back of this man's head is one of the most beautiful things on the internet. The multi-talented, budding YouTuber, one of the most bearded men I know, Mr. Brutall. Oh, there it is.
Good afternoon. How are you?
There he is. Oh, no, you know what we're going to have to do? You might have to go back and do that again, because...
Again?
Didn't. Do it again.
Again?
Do it again, right now. Do it live. Do it live. It'll be better this time.
Just tell me when.
It'll be better this time. Mr. Brutall Static is joining us as well.
Hello. Good afternoon.
I got the soundbite that time. It didn't play the first time.
We practiced for hours earlier today. I'm done. I'm out. Done.
Peace out. Peace.
We did actually practice, and
We
I
did
screwed
practice.
it up.
And you blew it. You blew it, Faye. You blew it.
Jeez.
Oh, no. I absolutely did. I totally ruined it. The soundbite was muted in YouTube. I didn't want to play earlier in the... terrible.
Just...
You're
professional.
That was epic. That was amazing.
Oh, my God. I'm sorry.
That's some nice swivel action on that chair. Is that IKEA? Like, what is that? That's nice.
It is a black chair of the chair variety.
That's not bad.
That's good. Good stuff. Just make sure you don't sit too forward, because you are going into camera space. Oh, there you go. So...
There we go. Now, Bay, are we on the 4-shot now?
What am I? Yes, yeah, we are.
Okay, now Anna, now try and focus. Stay focused. Stay focused on what we're going to talk about today. All right, I know you're on vacation, but stay focused.
What have I done?
This is going to be an insane show.
This is a little bit... Oh, boy. I hope you guys are ready for this, because I don't know if I am. I don't even know what's going on right now.
Woo!
Oh, my goodness. But thank you all for being here. This will be a lot of fun. Woo. I don't even know where to begin. Shoot.
Well, let's move along in these amazing show notes that you always put together.
Yeah, that's fine.
And let's go on to having Koltrane and Brutall talk a little bit about what they do on the internet. I know all of our guys in chat probably know these guys and know exactly where to find them, but just for the record, how about you pump a little bit of what you do online and where we can go find more of y'all awesome people when we want to go look for more Koltrane and more Brutall?
Brutall will go with you.
Personally, I don't think I can handle any more Koltrane, but...
Yes.
But... So, a few months ago, I think it was back in September, I decided to start a YouTube channel about a whole lot of nothing, and it kind of exploded. I have about 3 to 4 followers. It's pretty cool. And, so what?
She's just laughing
Go
at you.
on.
Oh,
Go on.
So, no, it's, I have a YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/user/BrutalStatic. All my stuff is Brutal Static. I talk about guild leadership, mentoring, development, etc. And I give a first... kind of like a perspective on what leading a guild through progression is. It's not always fun, it's not always easy, but it's a heck of a lot of, it's enjoyable in the general sense. I'm also on Twitter and I'm on Twitch and all that jazz, and I'm really just kind of a bald, bearded guy that likes to talk, and for whatever reason I have those 3 to 4 people that enjoy listening to me.
That's
so
3 to 4 people. So humble ever to be.
Well, maybe we can get you to 5.
Hey, I'm down to 5.
Hey, I think, well, I think you got to 4 last night with Koltrane, right?
That's true.
So,
that's true.
That's
I did.
right.
Thank you,
We'll do our
Koltrane.
best.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Appreciate
Indeed.
having you on the show. And now let's hear a little more about you, Koltrane. Where can we find more about you?
Well, I'm in between Bay and Brutall. I'm in a beard sandwich. I got to tell you, and it actually smells quite nice. But I'm on the Convert to Raid podcast. Convert to Raid is a podcast about raiding. We also have a community kind of for raiders. We're on Airy Peak, and we've got about, I think, like 80 or 83 active raid teams right now. So we've got about... Yeah,
Wait,
it's
hold
pretty
on.
insane.
Is that 80?
Yes, that's correct. Active raid teams. It's kind of a big, giant raiding community. We've got about 7 or 8 sub-guilds that are filled to about 950 each. So we're a large guild, but it's really just a community for raiders. If you're interested in raiding, come out to converttoraid.com and check us out. And having that many raid teams, it's great because it kind of offers a different time and a place for all different types of people. If you're hardcore, if you're more casual, if you live in Australia and have odd times or this or that. So it's kind of fun. So yeah, we're at converttoraid.com and kind of a community for raiders. That's
No, it's awesome. A chat room is yelling at you right now saying 92 raid teams.
Oh, 92 raid teams.
It has blossomed like rabbits.
92.
Oh my. Bay, may I say one more thing, Bay?
Maybe.
My friend Dopamine would kill me if I forgot to say that I'm actually on the
yes.
Set to Heroic podcast as well. So
Yep,
my
you
apologies to Dopamine.
Of course.
We've been doing Set to Heroic for months now, and it is a progression-oriented podcast. Pretty much everything I do is progression-oriented to some degree. So there you go.
Yeah, you guys got started up right about when we did, I think.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one of us started up first, but I remember finding y'all and thinking, man, I think it's really great that there wasn't anything in this space, and now there are both
Agreed.
of us
We love
talking
it.
about hardcore rating.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was really fun. At first, I was like, crush the infidel, because you were doing what I was doing. But we both do.
And then we actually listened to it, and we were like, man, these guys are awesome. Let's hang out.
It's a little bit different take on what we do here at Final Boss, but it also is a good little bit of podcast. You guys don't have, like, what's your schedule like with Dopo? Like, what do you guys... Because we're every Sunday, like, without fail so far.
It kind of falls on the day that Dopamine decides not to be lazy.
Oh my!
That's pretty much what it boils down to.
Okay.
So, but the thing is, like, I have my YouTubes and my other Twitters and Twitches and stuff like that, so it really doesn't bother me when we don't do it. But when we do, it's a lot of fun. So
that's awesome. How many episodes have you guys done so far?
14, maybe less, more.
14?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was 13 or 14. You're right. Yep, good stuff.
That's awesome.
You gotta get started somewhere. I mean, content creation. I think it was it Dopa on the beginning of your last show that said, I don't know how Bay keeps up with the schedule every week.
I believe
like,
so.
It's not just me. I mean, Anna and all that.
Determination.
Yeah, or that. Or
let's be honest. It's mostly Bay, but it just takes a ton of organization and just determination to just make it happen every single week and stick to the schedule. And sometimes there are ups and sometimes downs, and sometimes we have really a lot of trouble getting the show together, and sometimes we have it planned out weeks in advance. But it just takes a lot of hard work, and it's all Bay. For everybody listening, it's all Bay. He works very hard.
You should see these show notes. My goodness.
I feel bad for you guys.
Up after like 20 minutes, so I'm looking at them now.
I feel bad for you guys because you do all these show notes, and we just spent like an hour and a half dealing with technical difficulties. I grabbed my camera, and I talk to it for 10 minutes, and then I'm done. That's pretty much what I do for my videos. So I can't help but feel bad for you guys. It's way too complicated for me.
Different styles. Different styles work for different people.
Yeah, it does. You're right. You're totally right. So I want to jump
let's
right in.
Let's move right along and let's talk. Yeah, how about you do this one, Bay?
Yeah, I'll jump right in. So I wanted to go over we're coming to the end of Mists of Pandaria, and I wanted to go back and look at where this came from and how the end of Cataclysm was and how it rolled into Mists of Pandaria and how it all affected us. So I guess the biggest thing was what were you most looking forward to with Mists of Pandaria? Feature-wise, like what were you looking forward to and that you actually did not get? So just to reminisce on what you were like, oh my god, a new expansion, and you get in, and now you've come, full circle. So how has it been with you and experiencing this huge jump to Mists of Pandaria? And I'll go with Brutall first.
So, quick little backstory. Static loves getting together for BlizzCons. We usually go to either my house or another person's house, and it's a lot of fun. And they were at my house for that BlizzCon, and they announced Monks. And I played EverQuest. I played many a game with the Monk class, and when they announced Monk, I was so excited. I was on board. I was stoked. I was pumped. I was ready to go. And long story short, Monks came out, and they were good. Don't get me wrong. I love my Monk. I still play my Monk. I'm on my Monk for Heroic Garage. But I love the fact that they're in the game, but they were a little bit of a letdown because they weren't exactly what I was looking for. So that's the high and the low of the Mists of Pandaria announcement and release, so to speak. Love the fact that they're there. I wish they worked a little differently.
Okay, fair enough. What about you, Colt?
Well, I think, the audience of this show is really about one thing, and I think we can all agree. It was pet battles. That's the thing that I was
absolutely
so pumped for pet battles. Yeah. And,
Hey, a lot of hardcore raiders I know were hardcore pet battlers, too.
That's
right. There was an overlap.
Mm-hmm. No, actually, I got to be honest. I have no interest in pet battles. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Neither do I.
There was a nice XP exploit that I may or may not have done to level up some alts at one point in this expansion.
Of course.
Maybe. I can neither confirm nor deny. But you know what, Brutall? I was actually like you, man, because deep down, all of us want to be ninjas.
Absolutely.
It's just who we are, right?
Let's lay it out on the table.
That's right. So when I saw this, I was like...
warriors, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But I wanted to be Michael Dudikoff in American Ninja. Like, I could be that now, and I was just ecstatic. So for me, it was actually the Monk class. But on the flip side, I actually really enjoyed the Monk class because I've played ranged for years. I've been a ranged guy. And now with Monk, I'm right up in there in boss crotch and loving it. I was just going crazy. So I like the play style of it. They've been changing the mastery every single patch. But overall, I think it's in a good place now. And now I mainly play Windwalker. And so I'm actually digging where the Monk is. So I was looking forward to it. I got to play it, and I loved it. And I still love it here at the end of Mists of Pandaria.
Well, that's good. That's a positive. Because I know going into it, you're always like, I want to play so much of this. And then it gets there, and you're like, exactly. Like, how was anyone super pumped for scenarios? And then you were like, yeah.
Was anyone super pumped for scenarios? Wait, you can just end it there.
Yeah,
was anyone really that pumped for scenarios?
Like, it sounded cool.
I mean, chat room, correct me if I'm wrong. But...
Yeah, I don't know.
The idea of quick content is kind of cool. Like, if you can just get in, do your thing, get some valor, and get out, that's kind of cool, I
mean, I was super pumped for scenarios in that they would give other people who were not me something to do in the game and thus improve the health of WoW. That was why I was super pumped for scenarios, but not for me, not for myself.
Yeah. That's fair enough. I honestly thought there were going to be solo content and interesting solo content in the game. But once they were like, they're just 3 people dungeons with no tank or no healer that have no repercussions that just give you free valor better than you doing 5-mans. Okay. That's alright, I guess. But,
yeah, I mean, I guess I was excited for them as a method of valor production.
Yeah.
They were very effective.
Yeah, that might have fell to the wayside. Hopefully we just get actual dungeons in the future here with Draenor.
And then I stopped capping valor.
Yeah, what is valor anymore? What is that?
Well, that is one unfortunate thing that happens at the end of an expansion, is that now at this point for us, it's not about lore and story and epic feelings. It's about valor capping. All right, we're doing the raid. We got, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's how expansions go at the end, you know?
Well, Sharkgaston brings up a good point. Proving Grounds were kind of an amazing scenario that I was
right.
extremely personally excited for. So that is correct. Blizzard did make a type of scenario that I was extremely excited for. So.
No, you're right. I'll go with you on Proving Grounds. That was fun.
I never did Proving Grounds.
You would.
Nope.
I haven't done them on live,
Nope.
to be honest. If you go look up my character, like, I don't have any Proving Grounds achievements on live, and that's because I did them all on PTR, and then I was like, oh, this is really awesome, and it gave tons of feedback, and I tested many different iterations of Proving Grounds in tank and in DPS, and then I was meh. I just didn't have the energy to do it. I didn't have the energy to do it again on live. So I'll admit it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, we had to wait a long time for it, and then I guess with certain classes, like I guess healer Proving Grounds are like awful because sometimes your RNG on your dudes like does good things, and sometimes it's just like they just stand in all the bad stuff. So, and you can't get farther than like maybe gold. You can't go really far. So.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, I like the idea of them because all of us are kind of scared. Like, we want to try out a new spec, but the only way to do that before Proving Grounds was to jump into a dungeon.
Yeah.
And then, you know, those 4 other people, you know, when you walk in, you're like, all right, I'm healing for the first time. You know, they're like, oh, boy.
oh god.
You know, here we go. And then the tank just charges, you know.
This guy again. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice that you can kind of try, you know, test it out. But, you know, I tried on my Windwalker. I was like, all right, I'm going to try this healing thing, my mist. I'm going to be a man of the mist. And I couldn't even get past round 1. They were just getting annihilated.
Yeah, they just died. Yep.
I've had that experience before as well. Although I've had it live with real people, so.
Right.
So Proving Grounds would help with that. Although Proving Grounds, it's very appropriate to talk about it because this topic was what were you most looking forward to in MoP?
Yep.
And I gotta say that Proving Grounds was something I was looking forward to in MoP, and then we get it in like 5.4, like 12 months after the launch of MoP. So, you know, you gotta wish I guess they only like to do it if they're going to do it right, but that was definitely a feature that was long awaited and slightly later than it probably could have been.
Yep. How about Brawlers Guild? Anyone cared for that very much? I think I'm like rank 8 and I haven't played it.
My guild was full of people who loved Brawlers Guild.
Yeah?
Nope, never did that.
It's brutal. What do you play the game all day, but you don't play the game?
Listen, I log on to raid. Anytime I'm in the game not raiding, I'm usually not raiding in the game. That's really what it boils down to.
Is that so? What do you actually do with all of your 90s?
Well, that's the thing. So over the past couple of months, I've just been leveling my 80 to 85 characters up to 90. And by leveling them, I mean I'm standing in one spot while someone power levels me. So anytime I'm in the game, I'm not raiding. That's what it boils down to. I'm not raiding anytime I'm in the game.
Oh my!
Unless I'm raiding, of course.
And then when you're not, oh, go Anna.
No, I mean Brawlers Guild was something that was extremely popular among the people that I spend my time with. I didn't do very much of it because I'm a little bit of a shy person in game, and Brawlers Guild didn't really appeal to people who don't really like a big crowd of people watching them and making fun of them. And that may be why I liked Proving Grounds so much more, because Proving Grounds can be done privately, whereas Brawlers Guild, part of the fun, and I get this, part of the fun is that it's public, but that was really just not me. I did Brawlers Guild a bit late at night when there weren't very many people around, but I'm not really like a very out there person when I'm playing games. Like, but chat knows that I don't really stream either, so Brawlers Guild wasn't really my thing.
Yeah, it's fine.
But it was totally awesome. Like, believe me, I think it's really cool that it's in the game. It's just not really my thing.
I think that was the total opposite with me, because I loved it when I was either doing... I mean, we were way above the gear curve, so like the first half of the whole Brawlers Guild thing was just like, pop cooldowns, the boss is dead, right? So everyone was like... I watched people like struggle on all the different smaller tier bosses and stuff, And I know how that can be nerve-wracking. I thought it was interesting to see who and what other classes did to fight these encounters. That was fun.
Yeah,
it was also fun to
also...
see people get chomped on by Bruce.
Yes, that's what was great, and I like that too because I remember Lore before he used to like kind of shoutcast.
Broadcasting, yeah,
the broadcast, like broadcasting, which was amazing. And they'd fight Bruce, and they'd get killed, and he'd play "Oh Alligator Terminator." Like he had some cool song that he'd play.
Yep.
But it was great, and that to me opened up a lot of doors. Like, oh yeah, what if there was like a spectator mode for Brawlers Guild? Like that's cool. And this broadcasting that he was doing, I thought was amazing. So yeah, I agree. I thought Brawlers Guild was actually a huge hit, and a lot of people that just became obsessed with it and just loved it. And you could kind of cheer someone on. You know, you could root them on as they would advance in rank. I thought it was good.
Or you could throw food at them and
I definitely cheered on one of my guildmates who was working on whatever that Hexos boss is.
Yeah, the one with all the
Disruptron?
lasers. Oh, Disruptron.
Was that his name? But yeah, when only had like 2 people in the world had defeated him, we had a lot of my guild like down there in Brawlers Guild cheering him on and being like, "Go, go!" But so that was really fun. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. I just think the gating of entry at first people like freaked out about, and I think you guys should have had your calm the F down number a lot earlier than that, Cole, because people were just freaking out. And then like 2 weeks after Brawlers Guild released, no one cared anymore.
Yeah, and I love that. You know, MMOs, you should really get that big world feeling, and there should be some stuff that is just arbitrarily exclusive, and then friends give it to friends, and friends give it to friends, or pay tons of money for it.
Yeah.
Like, there are many different ways to get in. But it shouldn't just be open to everybody out the gate, you know, like you should be able to buy entry or obtain entry in several different ways. And that was part of the charm. I mean, why else do we play an MMO? Like you need to get that big world feeling. And part of that big world feeling is who gets in, who doesn't get in, how do you get in, how do you obtain entry? Yep. I don't know. I liked it.
No, I think gating in that regard was fine. I think it was just mostly a monetary gain. The random drop chance part was awful. I had friends that had killed those rare mobs like 80 times to not even get one. But, I mean, that's the rarity of it. But it's fine.
Yeah, that's the payment that you make, I think, for having that feeling of that exciting feeling. I mean, that's the payment is that sometimes it doesn't work out for you and sometimes it does.
Fair enough. How about, outside of those other things, when you first started questing in Mists of Pandaria, like, how did you feel? I mean, obviously they had the no flying, so you had to run around on your mount. But was like the world like everything you thought it was going to be? Because you get off the boat basically when the cinematic ends, more or less. You can find where that battle happened. So, like, how did you guys approach the questing at like the start of Mob? Or did you do what I did?
From 85 to 87.
No, did you? Oh, you do what I did and just grind dungeons for the first 2 levels. It was awful. So
no way.
No way. But what about you, Cole? Like, how did Mob strike you when you first started playing it?
And I don't know if this is like a new expansion thing, or I don't know if it was just Mists of Pandaria, but I was completely drawn in. I was just like, I felt immersed. I was totally into the lore and these people, these pandas. Like when they made the announcement, you gotta admit, in your super secret dark places, you were like, wait, pandas? Are you pandas? In World of like, pandas?
There was nothing secret about it for me. I was so upset in the audience. I was because they announced the annual pass right before. I was on my phone buying the annual pass, about to pay, and then they did the Mists of Pandaria video thing, and I was like, oh, this is a really funny joke. I love this, joke video that Blizzard is showing us. And then at the end, I realized it wasn't a joke video. I was fucking furious. I was so mad.
Foreshadowing. I have the Pandaren Brewmaster brand koozie on my cup right now. This was from, BlizzCon 2008. They salted the water before we even thought of it. They were slowly working us into it. So when we all thought we got there, it was like the joke. Because they had the April Fool's Day like in-game Chinese food ordering thing one time. But then when they actually launched it, they were like, no, this is real. And you're gonna like it.
I love it that Anna, you actually hesitated before you hit like proceed to checkout.
Yeah. No, I was actively angry. I was raging. I mean, you guys have seen me rage about stuff. My guild was like, I love pandas. And my guild leader was a shaman, and he was like, beer totems? I'm in. And I was just so angry. I was so mad. I didn't buy the annual pass for a month afterwards.
Oh, no.
Wow.
It really set you back, huh? Damn.
It really did. Holy cow. I mean, that escalated quickly. I mean, holy for holies.
Indeed.
And I really liked the pandas. They grew on me. I was really sad in the Protectors encounter when you fought the panda quest givers, and there were like the dead pandas floating on the top, and I was actually very actively sad. Like, that lore hit me hard.
wow,
So I guess the pandas grew on me after a year.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
There was that quest where you had to like scale the mountain, you know, and the rope, and you're going up and you're learning all this lore. Like, I totally got immersed and sucked into it. And even things like slow down. I was like, you know what? He's right. I should slow down.
Could you just say slow down one more time for me?
Slow down. Yes, but it was like, I should do that. Like, that's a good idea, you know, like in life as well. But I don't know. I really got it. I felt very, very immersed in the world. And Brutall, were you thinking the same thing?
Oh, absolutely. When it comes to expansions, and for whatever reason, like you were saying, this one particularly, I just found myself enjoying the questing. I love the exploration point of it, discovering these new characters, these new abilities, these new quests. I mean, it's all just so wonderful to me. And moving from zone to zone, I love the fact that more so than ever, it was also different. You had the super serious stuff and you had the lighthearted stuff. It was just a good combination, in my opinion. I really did enjoy the leveling and the questing from 85 to 90.
Yeah. About the same. I mean, because there was a lot of stuff that was new. I mean, we know it was like a filler, quote-unquote, expansion because it kind of broke the vein of where we were going originally. But I think that was only to set us up to think that it was like that, because after we finalized all the story now, at least that we know, it really kind of fills in all these other little plot holes in the world, like with the Shah and the old gods, all this extra stuff, and where Pandaria was, and why it was closed off in the first place, and what happened when we actually almost killed the panda starting area. Spoiler alert. So it was a lot of little things that I felt really helped pepper the world. So now when we go back into 6.0, well, sort of, we go back in time back into 6.0, but yeah, we'll have a lot more. We know what's going on in our world, and it's so much, I guess, more complete. So I know Nobble's waiting for 7.0 really, because he's not really too fond of 6.0's idea, but hopefully it sets us up for a good 7.0. But what actually happens with our planet, we'll see though.
Our planet, our time.
Yeah, our planet, our time. Yeah, yep, exactly.
It's not a time travel expansion.
It's not. Okay.
If you say it loud enough and often enough, then maybe people will agree with you. Blizzards, that seems to be their goal here.
Oh, man.
Yep, it may happen.
Well, let's move right along and ask, since we were talking about things that we really enjoyed, what specifically in Pandaria was something that Blizzard really nailed? I guess you said the panda starting zone, Koltrane?
Yeah, well, just the overall, I was just like what Brutall was saying too, the questing. I mean, all of us, we all got upset about the green dragon statue. I mean, I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
You could have a heart full of, you know, coal, but it pulled at you when that green dragon statue, no spoiler alert, don't worry. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Which zone was that in?
It was the Jade Forest, I think.
I never did that zone. I always dungeoned through it. Okay, but at launch, Jade Forest was broken, so
That's
everybody
true.
dungeoned to 87, and then I just got into the habit, and I did that on my second character as well.
Oh right. Well, were you Alliance?
It now, but now you're giving me something cool to look forward to. I'll have to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it.
And I am Alliance, yes.
Yeah, we're
Because Alliance, they had a tough get-go.
I got a dirty casual and 2 dirty alliance with me in this. Oh, good God Almighty! Oh, jeez.
We are the few.
We're done.
Oh, jeez.
This episode is gone.
What happened? Oh,
that's right. Look, I was Horde for 6 or 7 years. I just recently switched to Alliance. So.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
So he's mostly you're still not good enough for you?
No.
Not good enough for you?
Not at all.
Terrible.
You booted her off the screen. He was so
I know,
angry.
he was
There
so
goes Anna.
hardcore. She's back, but oh my goodness.
Am I back, you guys?
Yes,
Yeah.
you're back.
You're back. Don't worry. You're back.
Brutal yelled so hard. Oh my god.
The fury.
The fury.
Remind me not to upset that guy.
Oh
Holy
my
cow.
goodness.
Oh, she goes again. Oh, man.
Didn't apologize well
aftershock.
enough. Yeah, it's the aftershock. Oh man. I don't even know. Is this? What are we doing right now? Is this something? Is this a show? Are we
You're
like
talking. So.
Oh,
I think so.
You think so?
I'm having fun. It's all that matters.
Oh my goodness, I know, right? Jeez, I'm gonna go over to me. Wait for her to reconnect real quick here. Oh man, my
Stinking
goodness.
Honduras.
I know. Stinking Honduras.
Central America.
You know, this sounds like a great time for a taco break.
Are you really? Do you actually?
Time for the old taco.
We're gonna watch Brutal eat a taco real quick, I suppose.
Break.
What is happening on this show?
Oh, that looks delicious. Oh, Brutal likes it. All right. Now, have you tried that new stuffed nacho burrito thing where the kid's getting chased by his father? He's about to get beaten.
So, I've had 4 of them. All right. Now, now listen.
Came out.
Now listen.
Fine.
The first one was terrible. I went to my local Taco Bell. I live right down the road from a Taco Bell. All right. Whew. I went to the Taco Bell that I visit frequently. They know me by name. They say have a taco-rific day every time I'm there.
Oh my, really?
So the first one I had, it was terrible. It was dry. It wasn't very full. There was hardly any of the cheese sauce in there. But I thought to myself, you know, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they just had a bad day. Right. Long story short, the next 3, wonderful, absolutely delicious.
Good.
If you'll excuse me, I gotta finish my taco.
I reconnected to the show, and I'm like, why are they talking about tacos?
We're having a taco break.
I don't see this on Bay's show notes. We have 4 pages of show notes here, and nowhere is there a bullet point that says taco time.
Brutal is on the show, and this man eats Taco Bell as much as you would not believe. So I think it's part of the show. It's sub notes. You don't actually see them, Nana. It's okay. It's there somewhere.
I'm gonna move
There's a
back,
cipher.
and I'm gonna answer my own question because I actually want to tell the show what I thought Blizzard nailed. I'm not even gonna talk about where they missed the mark because whatever, I don't care. But the thing that I thought that they nailed most in Mists of Pandaria was 5.4 when you logged in and you saw the destruction of the Veil, I was devastated. I was so sad. We had spent so much time in the Veil, and just to see it all destroyed made me really sad. So it was very moving.
You're totally right. I think we saw, because we saw Cataclysm reshape the world, right? And ruin or change all this different landscape. But it was kind of like a soft blow because it was all like old stuff.
Listen, I just want to be clear. I can't speak for Koltrane or Anna, but I'm here for the long haul. I'm here till this thing is done.
I'm here until my closet stops smelling like farts. Once it starts smelling nice again. No, I'm here, baby.
I mean, I'm here until dinner is served.
Yeah.
Yes, now.
Are you got the? Yeah, that was creepy.
Yes, now.
That was creepy.
5, 4, 3.
Well, I'm glad they can hear us. Then all of you guys are in the same boat as me, where you can only hear people and you can't see them.
Well, what you're looking at right now is pretty incredible. I don't know if it's incredible as these 2 handsome gentlemen, but I mean,
yes.
Whoa.
I'm looking at the Caribbean Ocean.
Yeah, I know.
Those handsome gentlemen are probably pretty handsome, but I'm going to be honest. I prefer an idyllic beach and the Caribbean Ocean.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
You know, I appreciate your honesty. It's very nice. But you're right. I completely agree with you.
Guys, I'm getting reports that my taco broke the stream. I apologize.
Yeah, your taco was just too strong, man.
I thought we were blaming Central America, or are we just blaming Celestalon?
Always blame Celestalon.
Always blame Celestalon. Always. Yeah, again, this is why watching the live show is the best.
Let's just talk about random things, like we're still talking, even though it's being interrupted. Like, no, I agree, LFR, No, totally. Tier 14 was completely different.
Yeah,
yeah, no, I hear you. No, warlords should be great. Farming fruit all day. Am I right? Right?
Yeah, so what about that rumor that warlords will be full of dailies? What did you think? I think it sounds great.
Yeah, I know.
Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus.
That was like a week ago, but yeah, we're all right.
That's how lagged we are.
Oh.
That's what's amazing. We're that lagged out.
Are we really?
Unbelievable. Brutal, play us a little guitar.
Look at that response time. Look at that response time. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
How amazing was that?
Yeah.
I am impressed. Did you have that shit like right next to you? Were you prepped? Were you prepped for the guitar call?
Him. I could try to make up a song, but I'm terrible about making up lyrics on the spot.
Sing us
But you
a
know
little-
what? Why not? Why not? Let's see what I can come up with. I gotta find a good chord progression now. Let's see. Sitting here, wondering why final boss is down again. Why do we tolerate Bay messing up every night and day?
Wow.
And I
Oh, Bay, you
is-
ruined it! That was amazing!
I hope you were recording that.
You could have kept going, man. Kept going. Why'd you stop? I was giving him.
Oh! Bay!
He didn't have to stop.
Unbelievable!
I was giving him my approval. Wow.
that was
Beautiful!
that was mean and unnecessary. I'm sorry.
No, keep going. Oh my gosh, that was unbelievable.
Oh my goodness.
You had a nice voice, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
I mean, I don't know what Chad is going crazy over, but I hope it was over that song because that was ridiculous.
Yep. No, it was good.
Let's do a round 2.
Apparently, Koltrane
Round
just
2.
went from no glasses to glasses in one frame.
Yes. Did he? Wow. He did. He did indeed.
Let's hear another song.
Yeah, seriously, entertain us.
That was really nice.
Guys, you can't put me in the spot. It doesn't work that way, all right?
Well, too late.
Yeah. has to
well, you're
naturally-
on the spot now, so let's see. Can you rise to pressure?
Nope, I certainly can't.
Shh, just let him,
Sorry.
let him feel.
Useless to us.
Sorry,
No,
sorry. I can't do it.
let him
too much
feel.
pressure.
Let him be. Just let him be.
Aren't you a
All right.
hardcore reader?
I am. Listen, I can hardcore raid. I can't hardcore sing. I apologize.
I can't hardcore sing.
You can do it. Just feel it. Just shut out the rest of the world. It's just you and the guitar.
And Coltrane's
I don't even
voice.
I can't even remember the lyrics of my LFR songs. It's been too long.
Well, don't sing that.
No need to rip it apart. Now go on.
No. It's too much, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it.
All right.
I'm not going to do it.
Oh
That was
my God.
beautiful, man.
Well,
Just
blame
give us
Bay
a
for
little-
ruining it.
Get a little ditty. A little ditty.
What state do you live in?
wanna feel you, be you, steal you. I don't know what these lyrics are.
Yeah.
What state do you live in? Coltrane.
Me, I'm in Los Angeles. Hollywood. Yada-da-da.
I'm sorry.
Hollywood.
I hate it here. To be honest, I hate it.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
Wow.
Music's great. People
I-
suck.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Hey, I like some of the people there, and I've thought about moving out there, and I'm just like, do I really want to live in LA? No.
Yeah.
Dang.
No.
Dang.
Where do you live in Brutall?
Say again.
Where do you live?
I live in Centralia, Florida, about 90 minutes north of Bay.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm in North Carolina. So do you count as the South or do you not count as the South? I'm not sure how Florida works. Like parts of Florida count as the South and parts of Florida do not.
We are south of you, if that's what you're referring to.
Well, yes, but like Miami doesn't count as the South, if you know
No,
what
it
I
doesn't. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say my city counts as the South. I wouldn't even classify Orlando as the South.
mean. Yeah,
We're kind of just Florida, so.
because I have family members in Gainesville, and they do not live in the South. I mean,
No,
I live
okay.
even Charlotte's kind of the fake South, but it's still
Yeah.
10 times more Southern.
Next time you're in Gainesville, let me know. We'll go out to eat or something. Taco
Yeah, I
Bell's.
should.
There's Taco Bell's everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't like
That's
Taco
not
Bell.
romantic.
I'm married. All right. I'm a married
Well.
man.
Do you take your wife? How often do you take her to Taco Bell?
Whenever she wants, man. That's how it is.
Yeah,
Is that how
whatever
you
she
courted
wants.
her? Did you court your lady at Taco
Would this
Bell?
man marry a woman who didn't like Taco Bell? Let's be honest.
That's true.
Absolutely not.
Exactly.
Left and right, what'd he say again? Silly things, funny things, and things that make me laugh. Every time I can't help but feel that he's half black because he's so funny. So funny. I wish that he lived closer. We would go eat tacos, yes sir. Yes we would. So funny. So funny.
Yes! Oh my gosh, that was unbelievable!
Babe, tell me you have that recorded.
No, we're live. We're
That
gonna deal
was
with
awesome! Oh my gosh!
We're back from the.
Oh, I'm tearing up over here, man. Woo!
Too much. Too much.
Too much? Too much?
Too
Too
much.
much? No
That
way.
was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
Oh,
We're gonna go with it, rain or shine, right now.
you are a talented man.
No, that's taking it
Yes.
too far. You're taking
Oh,
it
it's
too
not.
far.
I dug it, man. That was awesome.
Taking it exactly far enough. You are a talented man.
was
Exactly
awesome.
far enough. Perfect.
It's like the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me. It's like unbelievable. Holy cow.
It was awesome.
It's like holding a radio over your head,
It.
right?
Yeah.
No, but that was amazing. That was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
See, I only did it because he said he was muting it.
Uh-huh.
Nope.
To me.
You were bamboozled and tricked.
Yes.
Yes, you were tricked. Well,
Yep. All right.
moving
so-
right along, we'll see if he can, if Brutal can make a song out of this one. Let's
Done.
talk a little bit about the tiers of rating that we had before we break today.
Yep. Let's go in. This is a quick topic. It looks like it's like a page of notes, but I wanted to just go through tier 14, 15, and 16 in a lament for the raid bosses past. And
Here, I can do this one for you in like 10 seconds.
oh,
Babe.
really? Can you really?
Tier
10 seconds?
14, awesome. Tier 15, sucked except for Lei Shen. Tier 16, meh, okay after boss 9. There you go.
Boom.
All
Done
done.
and done.
Okay, well,
On
commercial break time, I guess, right? Is that what that means?
Right. Stick that in your empanada.
What?
Boom.
Oh my god.
Done and done.
Man. If laughing.
I actually have to agree with a lot of what she just said, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's totally
No,
true.
we don't have to spend a zillion words on it.
Yeah.
I mean, although I think that Tortos was the greatest fight ever created. We can all agree on that.
Of course,
That's
of
just
course.
is
because
amazing.
turtles are adorable, and
Wow.
they are cute.
I actually
Yeah.
hated Tortos. That was the worst fight. For ranged, holy
I had-
cow.
Oh, I had a kite on my monk. That was fun.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, I
we
gotta
decided
say, it
to
wasn't
kite the
more fun
heads.
for melee either. You just kind of sat there, and then you were like, "Oh, there's a thing that's landing on me. I'm just gonna sidestep, 2 yards. Oh, there's another thing landing on me. Sidestep 2 yards." And that was
Yeah.
pretty much the entire fight. It was very boring.
Yeah, no, you're right. But just so we'll do like a general overview then. We won't go into each original thing. I'll pick out one big point for each of these. So tier 14 had 3 wings, and they were split wing launches.
Mm-hmm.
So how did like the 6-week span of eventually getting all of your content feel? Like what did you guys do to with that, Brutal? Like what did that?
So static. The way we approached is, clearly you started off with MSV because that was the only thing available. To make a
Correct.
long story short, however, we felt that we were pulled in probably in one too many directions by the time Toes released. Being a guild that only raids 3 nights a week, and we raid 4 hours per night, so 12 hours total per week, obviously, it was very hard to find where we should invest our time. Do we want to work on a brand new hard mode, or do we want to clear the 10 or 11 bosses we've killed across all three raids that week? It was a little, not confusing, but it was a little frustrating at times because we wanted to continue increasing our rank and increasing our skill level and whatnot, but it made it difficult sometimes. I don't like when there's
And I'm
so
not
many
sure-
options.
And I'm not sure if you guys had this stress as well, but it sounds like you would have had a very similar stress to us, where you ran into a question of, do you spend time to re-clear MSV in your raid week, or do you do it outside of your raid week? And how many of your competitors are doing it outside of
Right.
your raid week?
And-
Because when you're at the very top, everyone's re-clearing everything.
Yeah,
so
but that's
who cares?
and that's what's so
But-
frustrating is, like, our guild, we are so specific with when we raid. Like, we do not raid outside of our specific raid times. We just
yeah,
don't. So
us as well.
there's no, hey, let's log on Tuesday, even though we don't raid Tuesday, let's clear a few bosses. No, we only raid 3 nights a week. So that was a
Yeah.
hard choice for us. We don't have the time. So I don't know.
we had exactly the same experience where we never ever add extra time. We have occasionally moved our raid days and with difficulty but some success, but we've never add extra time. And so we ran into this thing where it's like, do you do MSV within your raid week? Do you do MSV outside of your raid week? How many people that we compete with? I mean, we're not super hardcore competitive, but we do care about our ranking. So how many other people who are on our same schedule are doing it outside of their raid week? And that stuff matters.
Exactly. And for the record, more than most people would think and more than most people would admit to, I guarantee you.
Yeah, everybody raids because they're competitive in some way. Even no matter how casual you are, you're competitive on a small scale with the people that you care about beating or that you're friends with. You know, we all care.
Absolutely.
I'm actually curious for you guys too, because there was different eye levels of gear in MSV versus. So how did that affect the whole thing?
It wasn't just eye level; it was specific items. There were really, really good trinkets off of Elegon. I think was the caster trinket. And Will had the strength trinket. So
yeah, that was just thinking back. That was frustrating. Just diving to split time.
I mean, did you like it though? I mean, for a question for both of you guys, do you think that a gated release of raids in the very first tier was it a success overall despite the downsides, or would you prefer that it was all one instance?
I don't want to sit here and say that I prefer to all be one instance. I think having 2 instances would have been preferable versus the 3. I do like the different atmospheres, the different instances, the different, approach to different things. I definitely respect and appreciate that, but I think they went just a little too overboard. Just like I said, we spread ourselves a little too thin.
Yeah,
I think
what do you think?
Well, I think on the more normal side of raiding, not necessarily doing like hardcore progression. What was interesting for us as our raid team was we were faced with, well, do we finish clearing normal MSV, or do we go up to this new one, the Heart of Fear, and we can get better gear? And then that'll help us with these final end bosses. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So what happened with us was we didn't actually finish MSV till later. We kind of got up to like, I think it was like the last 2 or something like that. Then we joined in Heart of Fear, got those first couple bosses down, got some better gear, and then went back. And some I know didn't. So it was kind of a weird thing because the gear was better in Heart of Fear. Like, I like having options, but I don't like it when the gear is like better in the other one. Because then it's not really an option. It's like, well, there's better gear over here, so maybe we should, you know what I mean?
So it kind of devalues MSV if you're not done with it.
Absolutely right. That's exactly what happened. For more of a normal mode type raider,
No, totally understand.
I mean, that's the same thing that happened on the Heroic scale for those of us who are progressing through Heroic. The question is, do you finish MSV on Heroic, or do you go into Heart of Fear and start progressing through there? So I think that's a question that occurs to pretty much everyone, no matter what level of difficulty they're on. There's always the question of, do you finish the old zone, or do you move on to the new zone when the new zone offers higher eye level gear and tier? That's really a problematic choice.
That's right. There were tier in the last 2 raids. That's right. Yep.
I like choice, but I don't like the gear being different. I like having options, but not where the gear's different.
Right.
And it was kind of a bummer for me because, well, less of a bummer because Something Wicked did choose to finish out MSV, and I'm glad that we made that choice. But honestly, MSV was one of my favorite, maybe my favorite dungeon that I've ever done in WoW. I thought MSV had an awesome theme. I thought it was beautiful. I thought a lot of the bosses were very engaging. All of them were very different. None of them were perfect, but we didn't do the sort of cheaty Ring of Frost permanent strat on Will. We actually did the like super organized, like Omega was. We were doing shouts for all of the waves of ads so that our guildmate who writes DBM could put all of the timers in for DBM correctly on all of the ad waves. So we were basically updating that add-on every week for when the ad waves were coming out. And we had this like strategy for how we were dealing with all the ads. And I just loved MSV. I would say looking back, start to finish, MSV was my favorite dungeon. It didn't feature my favorite boss, but it was my favorite dungeon of the whole expansion.
Yeah. I'd agree with you on that one for sure. That'd be my vote for sure. And I don't know if I wonder if it's because it was the first one. Is that why? Because it was all new and shiny and, we're in the new raid and here we go. You know?
New and shiny, and for hardcore raiders, we came in blues, and you never have that experience again. Not a single time.
Yeah, that feel, that progression push. Where it really, that push. That's what a good point, Yep. Because once you get the first tier done, you're all at purples, and it's all just like small upgrades from there. You don't have those huge jumps from blue to purples your first time. Yeah. You really start feeling like you're getting stronger. Yep.
But we talked a little bit about the lore of Pandaria and how it was. I think a lot of people in chat thought it was pretty good, and I think MSV really encapsulated a lot of what succeeded about the lore of Pandaria. Just the Mogu, just that kind of Ulduar-esque feeling. I think MSV captured that very well. Also, Elegon was really pretty, and I wish he had dropped him out.
That was a fun fight too.
But he never dropped him out for me.
Never dropped him out. I never got one either. I think I only got one in the guild after the 12+ kills of him. Yeah. Oh well. The last thing about Tier 14 that I want to touch on was, I mean, you never probably experienced this, Koltrane, but for us,
how dare you?
Hey, but you might have heard all the dirty cat. Yeah. So heroic Shah of Fear. Heroic Shah of Fear in 25-man, you could completely skip half of the encounter.
What? Is that true?
It is totally
Are you talking
true.
about the AFK platform strat, Bay?
I am totally talking about the AFK platform strat that probably more than half of the raid teams used.
We did.
Because there was no point to actually do the fight how it was supposed to be, because there was no point.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
we never used that strat.
Really? Well, we did. Nope. So did Santa, I guess.
Are you using the AFK Temple Garrosh strat then, too?
What is that?
Well, slow down here. Whoa. Explain, what is the AFK, for those of us that don't know, the AFK strat for Shah? What is that strat?
Brutal, are you want to
If you use 4 tanks, it sends a tank out to a platform, but then you just don't engage that platform. Is that how it works, Bay?
Yes, that's how it works.
But it's a 4-tank strategy. That's the key.
Correct.
Was it?
So
I don't remember it being 4 tanks. It's
there
so
are
long
3,
ago. It was a year ago.
You could 3-tank it. You could 3-tank it technically, because there's ways that you can have the tanks not get sent. It'll send 6 other people and not them. The problem is it's all front-loaded. You have to burn the first phase down eventually, because you're soon going to have 15 people on platforms.
That's right. Yeah. I think we used a Fury Warrior somehow to.
Yeah, you have other people that soak with like a cooldown, so like you have a DK or a Fury Warrior. I think I even soaked one with like both my cooldowns up. All you do is you get right in before the cooldown comes up for the ability to get sucked away. And since you're the tank, because you're in the blinding light of Lei Shi, then you get pulled away and your tank stays there. But what happens is once you get 3 people on the other platforms, those platforms don't do anything until you fight the dude. So then the rest of the raid just fights the boss, and nothing else happens.
But you can't get back, so that's why
you can't get back until you get to phase 2. Correct.
Right.
But I think the problem
was a front-load burning strategy.
Yeah, you just
take that, Hazakostas.
Yeah, I know. Wow.
Didn't think of that one, did you?
I don't know why the platforms didn't engage you when you landed. That would have solved the entire thing. Yeah. But because there was no engage on landing, you have to actually attack the archer. Which was so weird, because he should have been like, what's up? But he didn't do anything.
Right.
Didn't do anything.
He's just staring at you like, come on, make a move. I
don't know. It definitely was not planned, I assure you. So,
wow.
Well, I mean, and they consider that kind of thing okay as long as it adds some level of difficulty to another piece of the fight. So if it did make you burn a whole lot of DPS on the boss before those 15 people get sent, then it could be considered okay. Or maybe they just didn't find it until after they didn't want to change the fight. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. Well, they never fixed. We'll move on here to Throne of Thunder now. And I guess we'll go into something that they could have fixed and then never did with Raden. Because...
Raden.
Because...
Well, I mean, and that's the problem with putting a boss in the game that you can't really test. And then if you don't test it, then you don't find these kinds of things.
Yep. But the thing that they found on PTR, as far as I remember them saying this, the method found the whole like you could do double and you skip a phase and you just do 1 blue and you go back to red, or other way around. Sorry, you just do blue red blue whatever. Is they found that on the PTR, I thought. So, but it just never came on to live to be fixed. So you basically only did half of the fight to beat it. But in the incarnation it was meant to go, like red, blue, I think both Sko and Roger Brown said that they would not have killed it if they would have done that way. That would have been a totally different fight. Much harder, and it was supposed to be much harder, but because of the issue, it was not.
Wow.
But I mean,
I'm curious, like for you guys, like do you guys dig this idea of heroic-only bosses or heroic-only phases?
I do, yes.
Yeah, Brutal?
I do.
I mean, I don't care because I see them, and I don't really see how much it adds to my experience that other people can't see that boss.
So, and they're also just traditionally not that exciting. I mean, I guess the heroic only bosses that we have seen in my memory were Algernon, who was awesome. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right. Sinestra, who was okay, but honestly, in my opinion, Cho'Gall and Ascendant Council were harder. And Raden, who was basically a disappointment after Lei Shen. So if they're not going to be that amazing boss that you are so excited about and remember 2 years later, that's generally the end boss of the instance. That was Yogg Saron. Or
you raise a good point.
Yeah, they're not that exciting.
I like the idea, but you're right. I guess I have to agree with the fact that they're implemented poorly. But I do like the idea.
Yeah, sometimes. Like, I think the only one that really was interesting was Algalon.
And that was for visuals, mostly. I mean, maybe you disagree, but I think just visually, he was one of the most incredible bosses that I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. I've been farming Old War now for a couple weeks to get my shards, because I want an orange weapon, because there's none for Shaman. And I might as well get one that I can use, a little bit anyway. But yeah, no, it's one of the coolest looking rooms in the game, easily. Easily. Very, very awesome. So, but then with Tier 15 overall, they changed from the three instances to one instance, totally linear, straight on through, with a little bit of scene change now and then. So then that's the other side of the coin. You have 3 instances, all spread apart, or one just straight on through. Personally, I don't like the straight on through. What do you guys think? Brutal, what do you feel about the straight on through Tier 15?
It doesn't bother me per se, but I like having the opportunity, the choice to go a different route, to do a different wing, to approach it from a different angle. That's just me as a raider. I'm sure there are half people out there that agree, half people disagree. It's all good.
Yeah.
But I look at old instances to where you could do boss 2, I'm sorry, like boss 4 before boss 2 as an example, and I like that because depending upon your raid comp, whatever, there are so many different variables to where you may have an easier time killing this boss versus this boss, and it just makes things flow better.
Gotcha. Sounds good to me.
I completely agree. I mean, even on this side, like, I like the days of, like, Old War, you know, where there was, like, a different wing and a different boss. So if your particular raid comp or your raid team was struggling on, like, Ignis, then you could switch to the dragon guy, or the lady, dragon lady, the thing with the harpoons. I don't remember. Yeah. But you had an option, so it was good. So if you were struggling on this one boss, you could fight another boss. Maybe you get him down. Maybe you get some more gear, some more loot. You feel that sense of accomplishment. With a linear progression, if you stop on boss 2, you're stopping on boss 2, you know, which we saw in Throne of Thunder.
Yep.
A lot of teams, that was a big roadblock. But if there were different paths that you could choose, you could go back. Now, I will say, as an audience member to you guys, as an audience member to heroic level progression, like watching Method, watching these world first races, I dig the linear thing because then it's easy to track. You know what I mean? It's,
sure.
Oh, well, they went this way and that. But I would say from a gameplay perspective, I like having those options. I don't really like the linear thing because, you know, strengths and weaknesses of each raid team. You know what I mean?
Right. That's true. That's true. I got you on that one. Yeah, it makes it a ladder, basically, if it's a straight shot. Right. But even with that, with the new heroic toggle, all you can do is, like, toggle it off for a harder boss, and then it sets you behind a little bit. But then if you skip a boss heroically, and then there's other ones that are behind that one that are easier, like I know we did in Tier 14, we skipped the Troll Council and did like the next 3 or 4 bosses heroic, and then the next reset we went back and killed Troll Council. So...
Yeah, and back in Tier 11, you know, like everybody and their mom skipped Ascendant Council. I mean, that kind of thing happens.
True too. Yep.
But that's not going to be a thing anymore once Mythic rating comes in.
Correct, because you can't, there's no... And that comes down to the fact that, like, that whole onset of Mythic rating in 6.0 is going to be amazing for the high-end raid scene. Because there's no toggle button, there's nothing else, there's no other ways to gimmick it. You can't skip a boss to turn it off and turn it back on again. You have to go straight through. There might be winged stuff where you have to, like, you can pick different bosses, but that's good for choices. I know that, not to make fun of our friends in Blood Legion, but they have been known to pull a Blood Legion from time to time. So they were working on Siegecrafter Blackfuse when Method went from Spoils to Thok, and Method got ahead of them because of that. And they're like, oh, let's go over there because he's obviously easier. They wanted to get the harder boss done first, so that they could muscle through it and then go to Thok, but they bit him in the butt in the long run. So, yep. So
I also wonder too, from a clearing perspective, you'll see teams like, all right, we're just going to do a full clear before we, get some more gear and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe some weapons or gear that you need upgrades come from the later bosses. With this linear thing, you've got to go through all the bosses. But even and forgive me for bringing up Ulduar. I know it's old school. We got to forget about Ulduar. I get it. But like even on the outside rink, you could like skip Ignis. You could skip the dragon person, and you could go right to the.
Yeah.
You can go right to that other person. So I don't know.
They're going to do that again, though. I mean, it's really funny to see these progressions through BlizzCon because 3 years ago, I have a very clear memory of sitting at BlizzCon and hearing the designers didn't like Ulduar. We realized that Ulduar was a failure because not everybody saw the end of Ulduar. They did something about how Ulduar represented some way that the game had failed. And then last year, we sat at BlizzCon, or this year, I suppose, just a couple months ago, and we heard you like Ulduar, so we're going to give you more Ulduar. So that's what... Yeah. It's funny to hear their opinions on these things change. And one of the things that was a success about that zone is that it was big, but had gating within it. And they've talked about how they're going to do like maybe some kind of a key system where you have the right key so you can skip right to X wing of that zone.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That would be kind of cool. Exactly, because I like the stuff that rewards. Again, it kind of pigeonholes people into thinking like, well, they get better treatment or whatever like that. It makes people feel entitled. But for those that put in so much work that could unlock those keys, it almost brings me back to TBC with attunements. Not everyone can get attuned. You had to do all the attunement chains in heroics and the earlier raids that led to the later raids. That basically made the guilds that fought through all that stuff. Obviously, re-keying people was a pain in the butt. But when you weren't having to worry about that, it felt a lot better when you actually got to that next place. Versus, like, they just throw a switch and the instance open, you can just do whatever you want.
Yeah, and Boombiff brings up a good point in chat as well. I like the way Nax worked with those 4 wings. Not saying I liked Nax, but I did like the way that was organized, just with the 4 different wings where you could go into any one of the 4 wings once you zoned into the instance.
Sure. Yep, that was alright. Yeah. And then you get the final one after you unlock
the final boss.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was good. I think there's a happy medium in there that it's hard to please everybody. Obviously, you can't please everybody. People loved or hated the 3 instances. They loved or hated the linear. And now we come to Siege of Orgrimmar, where we raid a player city that has a very small amount of non-linearity, and they basically
tiny amount.
Two bosses different. But then they put basically 3 different instances in one instance, because basically you start at the gates of Orgrimmar, and you work your way through, and you go down below, which is like a totally different part, and then you work to the final like cusp of the instance. So there's like 3 different like feels in the whole raid. So they kind of mishmashed 14 and 15 and put it into 16. Right? Would you guys agree?
I would agree, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just taking the elements of them.
The elements of them, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like a direct...
I would say more like they're refining their approach.
Yeah, no, exactly. Is that all your hand motions? Yeah.
Yep, that's it. That was good.
Yeah.
That's it. There it is.
Yeah, so they're definitely fixing. I think they're learning a lot from that. That's why I'm super excited about 6.0 rating. Is going to be hopefully good. I mean, again, when you swing the pendulum too far one way or too far the other way, you're going to hate or love. To find that middle ground is difficult. So.
And I mean, we can look back at the history of WoW, and you're right. The pendulum swings one way to another. I mean, and it likely always will. I mean,
sure.
It's just based on feedback and what Blizzard feels like doing 1 year.
No, yeah, absolutely. But then what? So how did you guys tackle with Tier 16, Brutall? Like, what did you guys do to start out with?
Well, we killed boss 1, and then we progressed from there.
Well, no, did you do it?
That's excellent.
I mean, I don't know how you progressed. We killed bosses 1 through 8 and then progressed from there.
Yeah? Oh, 1 through 8. Jeez, something wicked going up on static real quick here.
Well, no, that isn't actually what we did because we got stuck on Norishan due to the 3 heal strat. But I'm making a joke about the difficulty of the first 8.
Yeah, no, that's how it was, though.
Yeah, the first 8 were a joke. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but that's what we did. We went and we just killed the bosses. And it was our first week was solid. Like, we had a really good first couple of weeks, and it was fun.
Yeah? Was there anything that roadblocked you in the first 8, or was everything just super easy for you guys?
Let me think. Iron Jug, I think.
Iron Juggernaut?
If I recall correctly, poor cooldown management by me led to
okay.
not killing the boss that week, and that's what prompted me to make my YouTube video about proper cooldown management.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's the best way to learn, is to figure out what it, I mean, how else are you going to make YouTube videos that are going to educate anybody?
That's
you
true.
have to make that mistake and then figure out how you solved it.
We learned from your mess ups, Brutal. Thank you for being awful at this game. Yeah.
I'm actually curious because you're talking
Every
about...
time your raid wipes, you should tell them, it's okay, you guys, this is just going to inform my YouTube videos.
Yeah, see?
More content!
Just guinea pigs. So what's up, Colt?
I was curious about like the linear progression. Like the first 8 bosses were a joke, right? It was a little bit easier, but did it feel better than Throne of Thunder?
No, I liked Throne of Thunder quite a bit, the way that progression worked. The end of Tier 16, I think, was better than the end of Throne of Thunder, but throughout Throne of Thunder, just because Horaiden and Duramu were 2 bosses that I really, really liked, and they were in the first 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I hated Horaiden, the Dino guy.
The Dino guy. The ad boss. The ad boss.
That heroic mode was one of the most engaging heroic modes I've ever done. I thought it was really... I like heroic modes that require you to do a lot of target switching. It was kind of like Spoils was like Horadon Light, honestly.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I like Spoils. One of my favorite fights in Sora Siege.
If I had been able to do Horadon with my Tier 16 bonus, I would have been a very happy Red Paladin.
Yeah, that would have been a little OP. I mean, because I had to actually regem full mastery for that as an Enhancement Shaman to actually do anything on Heroic Horadon. Because I just needed to do AoE, and my AoE was
my class
crap.
was horrible for that fight, but that was a really excellent fight from start to finish. But anyway, just talking about the progression, even though we got stuck a little bit at the beginning of T16, I just thought that T15 had a better progression of difficulty through, and I really blame it on the introduction of Thunderforged loot, which is awesome and I like.
Yeah.
Which is awesome and I like, and I think Thunderforged loot is great, but the fact that we went into Tier 16 with full Thunderforged loot affected the difficulty of Tier 16.
Yep, definitely skewed it.
Because on PTR, those bosses did not feel that way, and in live, they did.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one.
I would agree with that, absolutely.
Yeah, it's an interesting back and forth, because for 25-man Heroic Raiders, you're like, ooh, extra loot that actually can do something as you progress through it, and you're like, yeah, little nuggets on the trail that you can get upgrades eventually. But really, what it came down to for us was that my BIS is gonna take forever, and then for 10-man, you were basically damned for life, because if you got like 2 pieces, good luck on you, friend.
Yep.
Because that was a terrible thing for 10-man. Because and if you got it in 10-man, it was such a huge power spike that if you didn't have it, you felt like you needed it, but then you never really got it. But in 25-man, it was totally opposite. So.
But it did give you that reason, like, oh, but you've killed this boss 100 times, but at least there's still that chance that, this could drop.
There's
what I mean?
There's always hope.
There's always
hope.
Trust in the coin. Trust in the coin.
That's right.
Yeah, trust in the coin.
I mean, we'll see. I think that it'll be interesting to see how that system works out in a world where 10 and 25 are not split.
Correct.
But I mean, regardless of the impact it had when you were rating, I think the impact on the tier after was really strong. Probably too strong.
I absolutely agree. I mean, I didn't see it coming, at least. I'm not sure if anyone else did or did not. But I didn't really expect it to make that much of an impact, transitioning from 15 to 16 with the Thunderforge gear.
Yeah, I didn't think it would have that big of an impact either. And we forget that 8 eye levels across the board is a huge difference.
Yeah,
huge.
On you, who cares? But on 25 people,
exactly.
Yeah, it's all math.
Especially considering that, I don't know about you guys, but Static, I don't remember specifically, but I guarantee you we had a few more trinkets and weapons than some other random guild, and that just gave us that extra push to kill, Nourish in the first week as an example.
Yep.
And I mean, not to say that's not fair. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and play the fair game, but it's kind of unfortunate for those guilds because it doesn't mean they're less skilled. We just had more gear, which was completely random.
No, it means you are more skilled. Just say it. I mean, come on. You just totally owned those noobs.
Well, since we're on that subject, Koltrane, what did you think of the Thunderforge system?
I think it's great. I mean, I'm a loot guy. I mean, it's all about the loot in my mind. Like, I love this new coin system because it's more
wrong.
Yeah, it's more chances for loot. I dig this idea that you might get a little extra juice. If you killed this boss 100 times, you're still looking. You know what I mean? Like, if you've killed a Mercius, you know, thousands of times, you could care less. But if there's still that chance, you're actually looking at the loot. I mean, we've all been there, like, oh, yeah, boss is down, let's just go. But now you actually look, because there's that chance.
Yeah.
So, I dig it, man. But you're right. It's like... So...
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. I mean, I guess that's kind of how it's always. Well, no, I guess not. Right? I guess that's not how it's always been. But
No.
anyway,
We'll have to see, because my fear going into 6.0, and one of the things that they've talked about a lot is that gems and the new tertiary stats are going to be kind of like the new random version, kind of like Thunder Forging or Warforged. So that brings up even more issues, whereas obviously only certain pieces will roll certain tertiary stats, but that means that when they don't roll them, they're garbage, and when they do, they're probably BIS.
right.
So, and then if they don't roll a gem socket,
yeah,
but
too
could
bad you
roll a
don't-
gem socket, like...
You didn't get that drop with the no durability loss.
Yeah.
That
Well,
means
no.
garbage.
Obviously, well, that would actually be super good on shields, because tell me your tank, a shield tank, hasn't been
So-
like, oh shit,
Quick story.
mid-fight. Yeah.
One of the final attempts of the night on Illidan before we killed him. Mid-attempt.
no.
Mid-attempt, as I'm trying to block a shear, the shield breaks. We had to use... Oh, man, it was bad.
That's why you have Jeeves keybound, bro.
Jeeves wasn't around back then, was it?
No
I
Jeeves
don't
in,
think so.
in Burning Crusade, no.
I
It was
know
bad.
at least one hunter who said completely honestly, I need that bow for my backup bow.
Heck yeah.
Oh, wow.
Completely honestly. Like, apparently it's happened before that they've needed to put their backup bow on.
Yeah. Breaks mid-raid. What are you going to do? You can't repair mid-raid, because it doesn't exist back in the day.
Right.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? I think the only other thing I wanted to mention in here and talk about was because we all know, I think Anna summed it up, Heroic Lei Shen, best end tier boss this expansion, yay, nay. Brutal, with us on that one.
Difficulty-wise,
Yeah.
Mechanics and ability-wise, I
Yeah.
would say yes. I did enjoy Shah of Fear when we were in his realm. I
pretty
loved
fun.
that fight once we got there. Getting to it was the frustrating part. Same thing with Garrosh. Like, and I could go on for hours about Garrosh, but we're not going there. But the point
don't
is,
do it.
We're not going there. But the point is, I love Garrosh Phase 4. Phases 1 to 3 can die in a fire.
That is, people complain about multi-phase bosses a little bit, just a soapbox briefly. I don't think a lot of those people have done the older encounters, because Illidan was a 15-minute encounter with 5 phases. Sure,
After they
two of
nerfed
them.
him.
Yeah, well, 2 of them bounced back and forth, but like the problem with that fight versus Garrosh is that there's an entirely different encounter in Phase 5 in Garrosh.
Yep.
And to keep getting to progress on that encounter that's very different, you have to get through 10 minutes of encounter.
Right.
So, versus Illidan, whereas it's kind of the same ebb and flow over the counter, you just have to deal with different things as it goes in and out. There's no phasing, there was no crazy load screens during it, stuff like that. So,
Right.
I think it was different, but it's the only fight that I think is similar to Illidan in its encounter, whereas there's just so much going on. You could say Kael'thas is a little bit like that, because it has 5 phases, but that was nowhere near the frustration you have to deal with on Heroic Garrosh, whereas if you wipe any time before Phase 5, you don't get to practice Phase 5, ever.
Yep.
So, it's definitely
I wonder
a
too,
frustration.
was what part of the love of Heroic Lei Shen was because it was mainly focused on player responsibility.
Player responsibility.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, that was big, right? Not necessarily like RNG of the boss mechanics, but player
Right.
responsibility.
And that was frustrating, but also very rewarding at the same time, because when you had that one, two or three people that screw up, you just want to wring their neck. You want to kill them. But when it all came together, it felt so good.
Yeah,
Right.
it does. So, and when the fight is totally controlled by the players,
Yes.
it's a different encounter than just timers and RNG.
Yes.
And is he going to cast the Whirling Death now, or is he going
Right.
to cast the spinny Woofy Doof now? And it
Yes.
totally screws up your whole positioning, and you wipe and start all over again.
See.
Yeah.
See, I hate those RNG fights. Like I remember in Firelands, who's the big stompy guy who'd walk around?
Oh god, I just had
poor
his name.
Rylith.
Rylith. Yeah.
Rylith.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand the RNG-ness of that fight of where he would spawn everything. That
Yep.
drove me crazy. I much prefer like that the players are in control and not the randomness of it. That just drives me crazy.
No, absolutely. And there's, again, that comes back to a soft balance. Solar Flare just said in chat. Per player responsibility is also what made Heroic Paragons a nightmare,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
which is weird. It depends on what it is. because I always
What?
have.
Yeah, that depends on what
Depends on.
you're using.
Yeah, exactly. But it.
What do you mean exactly? She didn't say anything.
Yeah, I
What
didn't
strat-
hear anything.
What strat
I mean,
you're
that-
using? Yeah, what
I mean,
strat
it
you're
depends
using.
on what strategy you're
Yeah, what
using.
strategy you're
I
using.
wouldn't say that about Paragons, not nearly to the same extent as Lei Shen, but that was because we specifically used a strat that that changed up where the responsibility was. I mean, we did his sec fourth, not his sec fourth.
Yeah, it depends.
Completely
Second.
agree.
And a lot of people did his sec fourth.
Oh, terrible. A little bit of in and out there. A little bit. That's fine.
Oh, just a hair.
Just a little bit. Well, I think that wraps up the rating tiers. Anything else you guys had to mention real quick? It's awkwardly frustrating. Those of you that are joining the stream right now, we're having some technical issues with the ingest servers or wherever it's going. My bitrate keeps going up and down, so I don't know what it is, but it's fine for a while and it's not. But just so you aren't like freaking out. But I think that was pretty much everything. Anything else about the tiers this expansion? Good and bad, ugly?
Just generally, I'm actually
Sure.
very happy with the rating tiers of this expansion. I think this is some of the best overall rating and boss fights and raids that we've seen since the beginning of WoW. I'm not going to say that it was all peachy keen, because it wasn't, but undoubtedly Blizzard has learned a lot in Mr. Pandaria.
They have.
And I genuinely think that Warlords of Draenor is going to be the best expansion yet in terms of rating, because that's really all that I play the game for again.
No, I am with you on that one. I actually really agree, because they've learned so much
Absolutely.
in 5.0.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I don't think anyone I've ever talked to said that the rating was terrible in Mists. I think across the board, everyone thinks this was one of the best expansions, not just as expansion as a whole, but also for the raiding scene. You know, so everyone seems everyone talks about, oh, Burning Crusade, that was the greatest, or Vanilla, raiding, but people, believe it or not, Mists was a huge success.
Yeah.
And I, of course, completely agree with it. I thought they did an amazing job. And like you said, they're still changing. Not everything's wonderful, but things are changing and things are moving. And I think looking forward to 6.0 with Mythic raiding and what they're doing there, it just looks like it's going to get even better. So it's an exciting time to be a raider.
Absolutely.
No, it absolutely is. You're totally right on that one. So we'll have to see. We lost Anna briefly there, but that's totally okay, because I am going to go and do the commercial break. While you guys handle that, I'm also going to, when Ragnaros is talking, I'm going to go check to make sure my roommate isn't doing anything crazy. But I'm going to take us a short moment real quick and tell you guys about some great communities that you guys may not have heard of, or have, but need to go check out anyway. And we really love working with here. The first one up, you've heard it multiple times on the show, but they've got some cool stuff going on right now for the end of all this wrap-up. Manaflash.com. Manaflash.com is a huge community page, there's us, that breaks down a ton of different things. They have some columnists that write up some things about the different holidays that happen. Obviously, the armory stats that we're going on right now. Buzzkill's Lair comes out very frequently. Right now, he's doing the future of MMO Essentials. He's breaking down the different landmarks from the previous year going forward and seeing what we could have in new MMOs. So different articles, different news write-ups. They obviously cover the WoW patches and hotfixes and stuff like that, but they cover WoW news. They don't only cover World of Warcraft. They have some other stuff too. They have streams and videos and VODs and all that good stuff, both in English and in German. Just go check out manaflash.com for a ton of awesome. And we also have Brutall's webpage over here. We have the YouTubes with Brutal Static. This is where he puts all of his stuff. Which, Brutal, real quick, how many different YouTube series are you going to start running? You have 8, correct?
Yeah, something like that.
But
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you have Life of a Guild Leader, where you basically, it's the inside of how a Radiant Guild Leader works. It's just like a vlog series, basically, right?
Pretty much, and it's kind of developed that way. It's definitely more of, hey, I feel like talking about something, whether it's WoW related or just real life related.
Yep.
And I just talk to the camera for a while.
Nope. You also have the Backseat Raid Leading, which is sort of how to deal with different events and upcomings in a raid leading guild, guild from your standpoint, right?
Absolutely.
Yep. And then you've got a whole bunch of stuff on the future here. So if you guys want to go check out Brutall on the YouTubes, Brutal Static is 2 L's. And why are there 2 L's?
Because that's how it was back in EverQuest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was more to that story, but apparently
actually,
not.
so I don't like to talk about it because it's kind of embarrassing. But I'm actually 8-4 and the camera shaves off about a foot, or up to 2 feet. So that's kind of where the tall comes into place.
Oh, okay. So
it's hard to get in and out of doors and stuff. So
Brutall. There you go.
It's pronounced brutal, for the record. All right.
But not okay. I got you, sir. Thank you. All right. We also have right over here. We have where Koltrane comes from, and where there's oh my goodness, you guys have so many episodes. 123 at this point. ConvertToRaid.com is an amazing rating podcast. You can look at it, Drevka. Look at this guy, this handsome gentleman on here. You also have Trekkie on here recently, didn't you too? There he is. There's Trekkie. And this is hosted by the wonderfully talented Pat Crane and Koltrane. You guys have been doing this now for going on 2 years, right?
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, still going. If you can believe it, we're still going.
But they have an amazing. You were only a podcast until recently. You actually do video now.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, we were just audio for a long time, and now we switched to video, and that comes with a lot of regret because a lot of people are like, "Well, just go back to audio."
Bless you.
We have a face for radio.
Look at you. It is. We are blessed to see your face.
Yeah,
that beard, sir. I mean, these two men with their beard. There's so much masculinity and testosterone.
I know.
Nothing compared to you.
Nothing. That's totally all right. It's awesome. You guys should go check out Convert to Raid. So, last but not least, we do have a special message for you from our very, I don't know, I'm not going to call him sincere Fire Lord, but I guess he's an interesting character. But we have just a couple of days left for this event we have going on. So if you want to head over to the website, and he'll tell you why. I'll just let him talk. He'll tell you what's going on. This crazy man here.
Greetings, mortal. I have returned to present you a challenge. The December donation drive is your chance to be part of the expansion, development, and gearing of Final Boss TV. To give you some incentive, avoiding the flames of sulfur! I'll also be dropping some loot. A donation of at least $5 will get you mentioned in an official thank you video and immortalized on my Fire Lord's favorite Hall of Fame webpage. $15 will grant you everything previously mentioned, plus 4 of our custom Final Boss TV silicone wristbands. Donating $25 will have you immortalized and thanked with 6 wristbands. And have you seen the Final Boss t-shirts, but don't think you can afford one? We will be granting you a raffle ticket for a t-shirt giveaway. Multiple $25 donations will be accepted for additional loot raffle tickets. And finally, our $100 tier will get you everything mentioned previously, minus a raffle ticket. Why? Because you just guaranteed yourself a custom crew t-shirt, allowing you to show off your Final Boss love all over the world of Warcraft. What? Oh, I had to. Of course, if you're feeling especially generous, you can donate a custom amount and receive awesome incentives for the highest tier you qualify for. Are you up for the challenge, insects? Want to head over to the donation event page at finalboss.tv. A handsome elemental.
I don't even know what's going on behind the scenes here, but something I just missed. Do you want to what happened, boys?
What happened? You happened.
What did I do?
You had
I'm
our
back.
support.
P.S.
Had our full support until you admitted to being a noob, sir.
What?
Noob.
How was I a noob? What happened? What?
We shouldn't even bring it up.
No. Ruined the aura of Bay, alright?
Wow.
On the D.
Wow. That's terrible. You don't have the option to... Are you back, Anna?
I am. I'm here. Did you do the commercial break?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. I was hoping that you had done that while I was gone.
Yes, ma'am. No, we're all set to go.
Okay, good. On the other hand, I don't have the show notes pulled up, so I don't know what the next topic is.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I will just run it from here. We only got...
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to get to the viewer questions specifically, so I might just do a little bit of our second topic and then go into viewer questions and then go into after show. We'll see how that works, if it's still laggy.
And dance off.
And the dance-off. We have a dance-off planned?
Yeah, well, that's what's written here.
Brutal? Oh.
Those are my own notes. Those are from Brutal.
Oh?
That's okay. They're editable by everybody, so you can just pretend that Bay put that there.
Oh, goodness.
Right.
Koltrane, your camera froze now. That's weird.
Yeah, it did.
Did you see yourself frozen?
No, I can't see anything.
You kept. I can't see anything. Yeah, I don't know
Am I
what.
still frozen?
You're frozen. Yeah, we're fine, but you're frozen, sir.
Really?
What did you do?
That's got to be the scariest image possible.
Yeah, it's a little. What's going on
Is it
there?
still frozen? Really?
You're still frozen, sir.
Well, what the heck? I didn't touch anything.
I don't know what you did. You broke something.
Well, should I, like, turn off the camera in Skype and then back on? Is that a bad idea?
That's totally fine. I'll just cut to me, and then I'll bring up the next show, and we'll go right to
I'm gonna hit
Brutal.
stop video. Here we
Oh,
go.
no, wait. Oh, God, no, don't do it. You're back.
You're there. You're back.
What?
What
That
are
was
we...
close.
What? What's going on?
Where did those sunglasses come from? I
What are you
didn't
talking
even
about? I'm
see.
not wearing sunglasses.
Oh,
What?
you're not? Oh, okay. I don't even...
Do nothing.
Do nothing. Don't freak out.
Wait, do you remember when I told you? Do you remember when I told you that one of my friends complimented the show because we were always so technologically just on it, and everything was so neat and tidy, and there wasn't
I
any
know.
complaining about bad technology or broken things. And
And then I
now
brought
I
on
feel
Brutal
like
and
the last
Koltrane.
few shows we've just completely just lost any credibility we had on that front.
I know what the
know.
real problem is, but we're not talking about it.
We're not talking about it? Okay.
Koltrane and I know, though. We know.
What?
Are we blaming Celestialon?
Really? Brutal, you tipped your camera up, Brutal. Where'd you go? You're like
What?
halfway up.
I'm right here.
Oh, okay, fine.
I haven't
You're like,
gone anywhere.
you're just like a floating head. Oh, a puppy.
There you go. Perfect.
Perfect.
This is
thanks.
better.
Brutal
Is that better?
crotch.
Brutal crotch. All
That's
right.
a brutal crotch.
Is that
right.
better?
So,
That's
Are we
better.
good?
Anna, help me, please.
Well, I would
good.
like
Roll
to let
I've lost
I would
control
like
of
to
my
let all
show.
of you know. I would like to let all of you know that I'm looking at right now. So you may not be able to see my camera, but at least you can see it on my Instagram.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
That's good.
Well,
Awesome.
And moving right along. Let's talk about since or just look back at the entire expansion, and let's talk about what we loved least about Mist. So, Koltrane and Brutall, pick your absolute least favorite thing about expansion that we're hopefully finishing up about. Let's start with Koltrane.
Oh my god. Okay. We heard the
I think
question.
I caught that.
Yeah, we're good.
I think the question was boxers. I wear boxers. Not, I think was that the question?
No, that's for after the show. That's for after.
That's after. I'm sorry. I think the biggest thing, and I know it sounds a little obvious. I mean, obviously, you got to head down these roads of dailies and reputation grinds, and it was not very alt-friendly. I will admit, when it first started, I didn't really mind it because everything was so new and fresh and exciting. But once you hit 90 and you start, you're doing your dungeons, your heroics, your raiding, and then you start leveling up an alt, holy, like it was crazy.
Yeah.
So I didn't dig all the grinds. There was a lot of grinding, with the dailies, and you had to get reputation for gear. I think that was the biggest problem, is that these dailies weren't optional because you needed the gear.
You needed the gear, yeah. And the reputations unlocked like other places in the world to do and get other gear.
Yep.
So I know chat room commented earlier when the Golden Pagoda exploded, they were actually like, yes. At the same time, no. Poor pandas. But yes, dailies are gone. Like, yeah, it was interesting. But I think that they know they're not doing that anymore. They're not doing Golden Lotus. They've come out and said that that's done.
Good.
Axed. Yeah. Woo.
But talk about the pendulum. I mean, they went like hardcore dailies with this.
Yeah.
They didn't just like, a little bit of dailies. It was like dailies, So, so now it's swinging back the other way because it was such a strong reaction. So
Yep. You're totally right. What about you, Brutal?
It's along the same line, and this is only because I have so many 90s this far into the expansion. It's the legendary quest system. This expansion.
God, please.
I didn't mind it on my warrior, and I didn't mind it on my monk because those are my two mains. I main two tanks for my raid because they'd each do things differently. But when I started playing my warlock and my hunter, my priest and my rogue, and so on and so forth, I quit. I just stopped caring about the legendary, and I hate that because number one, it's stinking ridiculously OP, obviously.
Yep.
And it's not just the cloak; it's also the metagem, and it's also the fact that you have to invest about 18,000 hours to get it. Not that much, obviously, but it's the same thing, or along the same line as the daily quests. I just hate the fact that you have to do so much for so many characters if you want it on all of your alts.
Yeah, there should have almost been like a once you unlock certain parts of the chain, you get easier ways to do it on ults or something.
I think the part I hate the most, and it's pretty much where I'm stuck on all my ults, is the 3,000 Valor, which used to be 6,000. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Good God Almighty, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I can handle collecting. I can handle collecting the stuff. I really don't mind that as much.
Yeah.
Just the overall experience is frustrating.
It's a little frustrating.
I'm stuck on that part too, on the Valor part. I'm like at the 3,000. I got like another 600 to go.
Yeah.
Right.
God, and it used to be 6,000, you know?
I know. And
Back
you're right.
in the day, we had to walk uphill both ways.
That's
exactly.
Right.
In the snow with no shoes on.
But here's the interesting thing that's happened. Because this legendary is accessible by everyone, you're expected to have it.
Yep.
When you step into a raid. Like, there's a part of me that, like, I don't want to plug in to, like, a normal or whatever raid because on my character that I'm playing now, my new main, I don't have the legendary yet. So it's like, you're like, wait, you don't have the legendary? Like, what are you talking about? Everyone's got it, you know?
You don't have shoes with lights in them? Who are you coming to this school?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's kind of an interesting thing. Because the legendary is no longer this like, oh, he's got the legendary. It's now like, well, everyone's got it, and if you don't have it, there's something wrong with you, you know?
Suddenly the ugly duckling.
And it makes it very difficult to switch mains as well.
It does.
And I know that they've talked about how that's kind of a bonus because you're not supposed to switch without putting some serious thought into it. You're not supposed to be able to just, like switch without making it a very serious decision. But at the same time, if you want to switch mains and you don't have that legendary, then you are, way behind DPS wise or, doing your thing.
Yep, you're totally right. It's just, it's 6 of one, half dozen another. Like sometimes they really hit the ball on things, other times just, But again, that's why I kind of alleviate all of this to 6.0 going to be awesome because they've learned so much in 5.
I agree.
They've just learned they have so much math about raids and what works and daily hubs and throwing up the Isle of Thunder versus Timeless Isle, all this stuff. And hopefully the pendulum swings right in the middle.
Oh yeah.
Right in the middle.
I don't see legendaries working any differently though because I think overall they were pretty happy with how this one worked out.
I think as long as they make it not a huge time sink for every character, because that is really limiting on you caring about your ults anymore.
Make it alt friendly, exactly.
Yeah.
Or what if you do this type of grind, but it's not for a legendary, it's for some like really high-end, epic, and then maybe the legendary can still be separate. You know what I mean? Maybe you can still grind it out to get this amazing, whatever it is, but it's not a legendary.
Yeah.
That's dirty casual thought right there.
That's
oh, jeez. What are
just
you
saying.
talking about? I gotta tell you a quick story.
That's that's story time with Koltrane.
Can I just do a super quick story about this whole casual LFR flex thing?
Go ahead.
All right, now you guys happen to be in the top.
Oh, now
50.
it's us. Okay.
Yes. No. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Okay.
Now the 3 of you are in like top 50 US, which is incredible. That progression, that's unbelievable. So here's the thing. For like heroic level raiders, they look very much down on LFR and flex, right? In your minds, and I'm not saying you, but I'm saying heroic level, in some raiders' minds, that's not real raiding. What is that? Now, for me, I used to be a heroic progression-based raider. I used to make a pot of coffee at midnight, and I raided in an Australian guild, and we'd raid till 7 a.m. But anyway, one day, my schedule changed. My hours at work changed. And the same thing could happen to you. Could happen to anybody. You could get married. You could have kids. Your situation could change. And when that happens, you might not be able to make your 4-night-a-week raid. And you won't be able to do it. And when that day comes, you're going to be thankful for things like Flex and LFR because you're still going to have that itch. You're still going to have that desire to raid, to want to see that content. And LFR and Flex, it's still a small portion of what it used to be, but it still scratches that itch, and that's still a really good thing. So I think that there's, like, for heroic level raiders now, they're like, oh, LFR is terrible, and it should only be for heroic and people that put in all this time. Just think about when it happens to you. When your life changes, when everything changes, you're going to be thankful for things like LFR and Flex because you're still going to have that desire, and you'll still be able to fulfill it. I think it's a good thing that 80% of the community can see Tier 15 content versus 1%. You know what I mean? In rating.
I think a lot of hardcore raiders are on your page. I mean, with LFR, I think was a very controversial option. But if you take Flex, for example, Flex was pretty much welcomed by everybody. I didn't speak to a single heroic raider who thought that Flex was a bad idea. They were like, this is awesome. My friends who like open raid will love this. My alts will love this. I think it's great. I think Flex was universally welcomed. And it might be that Flex was the better implementation of what they were looking to do with LFR.
Yeah.
I mean, LFR has
Agreed.
it has its place. A lot of people don't want to go to open raid. They don't want to play with friends on their battle tag list. They just want to queue up. But in terms of raiding as a group activity, Flex really fits that need for the people who don't have a scheduled raid group and can't manage a scheduled raid group. And Flex is just so easy to set up that it scratches that itch that they want without the need to join a very structured group. So I think that Flex, the hardcore community loves Flex. At least that's my impression.
That's the thing. Like, obviously I joke about it, but LFR and Flex certainly serve a purpose. As an example, with my alts, like I'm not going to bring my alts to normal or hard mode and get the stuff I need for my legendary quest. So Koltrane, let's set the record straight. You raised some good points. Man, that's still some dirty casual talk right there. I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's
He's
snobby.
using dirty casual there as a compliment.
It's a term of endearment.
That's right.
Because if you didn't hear Brutal earlier today, when he's not raiding, he's raiding, but when he raids, he doesn't raid. So what does he even do when he plays this game? He's almost as dirty as you are.
I'm sitting in Orgrimmar right now, doing nothing.
Look at the camera.
And like this shirt
I'm
that I'm
sitting
wearing.
at Ogremar. I'm sitting by the ocean, bro.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Come at her. Jeez, can't even.
Come at her.
You're right. But no, it's good. And I agree, you know, LFR rating and that kind of thing. But it's still like for those that do have crazy jobs, unusual hours, I am happy that those people get to be able to see that content and still kind of get to do some type of rating in a way. So
you're totally right. And that's my fault. I'm going to go back to this. That was actually question 1 on the Q&A. Boom. It came in from Sias from US Malfurianus. What was your most memorable boss encounter this expansion and why? That was to kick off this whole topic. So we already went over that, so I wanted to give, you know, Sias his little bit of time on the air there because we had some awesome questions come in. Ooh. So that was the one to go about that. The only other thing I think we really want to talk about before I do the whole Q&A is BlizzCon 2014.
We'll all be there, right? All of you guys?
I'm currently planning on it, so we will see.
Yep.
If I can click fast enough, I'll be
I know, right? Damn. Yeah, you gotta click fast enough. But then
the biggest tip is don't like select quantity. Just choose whatever the default is and go.
Yeah, just go.
You can adjust it later.
And also, you want to like have the screenshot of where the checkout button is going to be, so that you can position your mouse in the correct place. That
exactly
was also
what I
a
did.
really good hint.
This is madness. This is madness.
Exactly what I did. And now we're giving out these tips. Now we're not going to.
Yeah, we're screwed. Now what have we done?
It's bad news.
We've chummed the waters.
Yeah.
This is rough. We're gonna need a bigger boat. But the only thing, other two, is do you all think that BlizzCon, because they're gonna have 5, if not 6 IPs this 2014, needs to be 3 days? Because this year was awesome, but oh my god, they had so much stuff in 2 days with 5 IPs. They go to 6, especially with having 5 and with another one being released, like fully. What are they gonna do? They need to be 3 days. Are we 3 days?
Okay, it
BlizzCon.
needs to be 3 days, but will it be 3 days?
Yeah, correct.
Extremely unlikely.
Like unlikely, yeah. I just
Yeah.
They just have
They
so
can't.
much.
I don't
they
think
can
they're
give.
going to do it.
Yeah. Maybe
The only
2015.
Right, maybe. I mean, the only thing I liked was at least buying a ticket and being there. You had the virtual ticket as well.
Yeah.
So that was great. So when you got home, you could watch all the stuff that you weren't able to see live. But you're totally right. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I missed because I was standing in line because I wanted to check out Heroes of the Storm or check out Warlords, you know, and there was just so much content.
Right.
So, I don't know. I'd love it to be 3 days, personally.
Yeah. Which is amazing. It was. I was at the event almost like working, like getting footage and like being at different panels here and there and whatever. And I had like no room to breathe to find things that I wanted to do myself and the stuff I wanted to get, you know, content for. Man, whew. It was a workout. It was
so
a
hard.
bit of a. It was so hard. It was so hard being in Anaheim, being at an awesome convention full of 25,000 people that love what I love and all the Of
I know,
course.
man.
Poor,
Right?
poor
Life
man.
is hard.
Life is hard. So
It's no good.
And then the last bit, this was what we wanted to talk about from what Final Boss was thinking about. For Warlords of Draenor, your New Year's resolutions. What do you want to have done before Warlords? either with your game, your personal life, or your content creation for likes of Brutall. So what do you guys have planned before Warlords comes out, whenever that might be? You know, spring, summer-ish launch. Brutall, what do you want to have done?
In terms of WoW, just make sure that the roster is as good as it can be for Mythic rating.
Okay.
We will. Obviously, you're going to deal with attrition. You know the drill. So I'm not.
Yep.
I'm not going to sit here and talk about the specifics. But that's WoW specific. In terms of YouTube's or social networking specific, I definitely want to make sure that my rebuild a guild, that my Brutall breakdowns are in place, and just make sure that when Warlords launches, I've got all my bases covered, so I can supply the content and just hit the ground running with development for the raiding community and assisting the raiding community and just making sure they're getting what they need to take that next step as a raider.
Chat room brings up actually finish the Taco Bell challenge.
Oof. Listen, I got a burrito sitting here for the after show. We'll talk about it.
Warming up.
We'll talk about it there.
It's actually quite cold at this point. But I got a microwave behind me. Don't worry.
Oh goodness. So what about you, Colt?
I think I'm just getting ready. Convert to Raid. Obviously, the podcast has been so much fun and so great with the community. Just continuing to do a lot of stuff with that, seeing where we can take the show to that kind of next level and what we can do to increase and improve the quality of the show and everything that we're doing. I would say, you know, for me personally, I'm looking forward to starting with my new main and a new expansion. I switched mains in 5.4, and like we were talking about earlier, I'm doing nothing but playing catch-up at this point. So
you're a Windwalker now?
Yeah. I started out as Mage. I've been playing Mage for years and switched to Windwalker. Monk. So I know we're not bringing a lot of utility, but I heard
you're useless.
You're useless.
I know.
You are so useless right now.
Exactly. They
but
call
hope some changes
Windwalker-
coming.
Yeah, they're like the mages of melee, they say, as far as raid utility goes. So.
But less.
Melee.
I like that.
less.
I haven't heard that yet. That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
It's terrible, but it's pretty good.
But, you know, in Warlords, there's going to be less button bloat, less raid cooldowns, less of that jazz. So maybe
Amen to
Windwalkers will have a bigger presence heading into the Warlords raiding scene. So
That would be
hope so.
awesome. What about you, Anna?
Well, I have one for Inside WoW and one outside WoW. Inside WoW, I would really like to make sure that I have my Shaman and my Priest leveled, and I'd like to put one of them on Horde side, because it's now that I'm pretty much resigned to the fact that they're never going to do cross-realm grouping between Horde and Alliance.
Oh, wow.
I just need a Horde character. I have way too many friends who are on Mal'Ganis specifically, but on lots of different servers and Horde that I'd like to hang out with, and I can't. So either I'll level a Horde character, or I will faction change either my Shaman or my Priest to Horde, and that's my in-game goal. Out of game, I'd just like to do a little bit more content creation. I'm excited that I got involved in Final Boss this year thanks to you, Bay, and I don't think that I'll ever stream raids, but we'll see where I can go from there.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. And you're very welcome, of course, even though people will never know the real story behind the scenes, but it's totally okay. I mean, for me anyway, I guess we're on the table for 2014. For one, fixing this problem right now so that we don't have the stream crashes anymore. I don't know if I want to talk to Twitch or have to figure something out for myself, but definitely want to bring you guys. We've had 20 episodes before this, 21 with the pilot, that were all awesome, and we've grown tremendously. And to a little bit of thank you for that is coming from the donation drive. That again is you guys being as generous as you are to help us grow and upgrade the show on the back end here for you, but then also to give you back a whole bunch of loot that we have. Also, you know, the customized T-shirts, the chance for the regular ones, and the wristbands and stuff. That's a little bit we want to do. I will tell you this: we do have some Hearthstone beta keys, one of the Alterac Brew Pups, 2 of the Fade Dragon mounts, and multiple different Ask Mr. Robot premium subscriptions that are going to be coming out on Facebook and Twitter over the next week before the next show comes out. The Ask Mr. Robot ones will be out basically on the show on the week before the show, or the Sunday before the show. But we've got the 2 EU codes for the Fade Dragon pet. We've got the Brew Pup, which is courtesy of Ro and the awesome people over at Realm Maintenance. And then we also have the Hearthstone beta key. So if you're not following us on Twitter or Facebook, then go do it. Chamaunya. So we're giving you, that's just something else we want to do to give you guys back for being as amazing as you are. So thank you very much from everyone behind the scenes of the Final Boss crew, the mini bosses, and all the previous sponsors we've had. We have so many more episodes coming. We've already got throughout half of February set up for you guys. So just stick around and we'll have a ton more Final Boss in the future.
And Bay,
and follow us on all of your social media so that you can get involved in all of these amazing giveaways and such on Facebook and on Twitter.
That's where everything's going to go. I think, though, I might restructure. The Fey Dragons are going to be pretty awesome. That might go on the YouTubes, but we'll see. Again, on Facebook and Twitter, we'll let you guys know. So
I got to tell you real quick. I got to tell you, and forgive me for interrupting you, but like to Bay and Anna, this is an incredible show, and you guys are really filling a great spot in the WoW community. Doing heroic endgame raiding is something that there isn't that much of course, except for Set to Heroic Brutal. I mean, your podcast covers that in spades.
Oh, no. Wait, you know, it's
I've got to throw that in there. But on like Convert to Raid, we do heroic stuff, we do more casual stuff, we do a little bit of both. But I dig it, man, that this is like strictly heroic endgame stuff. You guys are heroic hardcore raiders, and it's a great show. The production's great. Everything about it is great, and just be starting out, to be so strong right out of the gate is really an incredible thing. So thank you to you guys on behalf of the whole WoW community. You've got a great thing going here. So
well, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. That'd be awesome. We're still working on it. I've said it today. You said all this nice stuff about us, but hopefully it actually translates to the VOD. As Anna disconnects, blame Honduras and Celestalon. It's fine.
Yes, that's right. It's
I'm going to grab, while she's off, I have other regions to bring up, you guys, so we're all set. I'm going to bring up the other Q&A we have here. So the second one comes in from, this name though, from Crab People on US Shadowmourn.
Crab People.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Is wondering, do you think Blizzard will make a daily hub akin to the Isle of Thunder again, or will they go more towards the Timeless Isle style? That iteration right there at the end there. So I don't know. Let me fix these camera regions real quick because you guys are both off center like crazy. It's okay. There's one. Oh no, there's two of you. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So what do you guys think? Who wants this?
I will say, without a doubt, it's going to be all daily quest hubs, all day, all night. 24 hours of dailies, baby!
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh.
I am pumped, man. It's going to be WOD is WoW of dailies. World of dailies.
World of dailies?
World of dailies.
So it was another typo because I thought Grosscrawler said it was Warlocks of Draenor. So now it's just World of Dailies?
World of Dailies. That will be the nickname of the next expansion. No, I think they've definitely learned their lesson. They literally nuclear striked the Golden Pagoda. It's dead.
They have.
So I think if that didn't send a message, I don't know what will. I think it's all going to be Timeless Isle style. I think it's going to be nothing but this find content around you. It's going to be, there's not going to be no more daily quest hubs. It's going to be exciting and, ooh, click on this and see what this does. And people seem to really respond to that. Timeless Isle, for me, it's fun. I dig it. Yep. So I think that's going to continue in World of Dailies.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're totally okay. Brutal, what do you think? Do you like the Timeless version or the Isle of Thunder version?
I haven't done any of the Timeless Isle dailies.
What the heck? What do you do in this game? I don't even understand.
This is like a good question. I mean, are you one of those people like our friends in Midwinter who raid on multiple characters? Is that what you do?
Nope. I raid in static and static alone. But anyway, let's not nitpick, all right? I think I agree with Koltrane because he's a good-looking man, and that's all I need personally.
Wow.
That's all I need.
Wow.
That was it. I was ready to sit the camera on you for a while. That's it. That's it. Okay.
I'm not an expert at dailies.
He's pocketing his vote. He's pocketing his vote into Koltrane.
I dig it.
Okay, what was the question, babe? Because I DC'd there for a moment.
It was if they're going to make daily hubs more like the Isle of Thunder or more like the Timeless Isle.
Oh, well, the guys pretty much have that covered. I think that's an easy question. They're going to be more like Timeless Isle. Now, do I prefer them that way is another question, but...
That's what I said.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I like a mix. Honestly, I can see why everybody loves Timeless Isle. It's less my thing because I like structure in my game. I really like more of a list of things that I need to get completed, like a quest log. But I understand how the dailies really burned people out, and they did really burn me out too. I'm just not sure if Timeless Isle is the solution that I personally would prefer. I think it's awesome. I would like to see that kind of content mixed with more experimentation. So that would be my preference. I'm not going to say, oh my god, they nailed it. All content should be like this from here on out. That's not really what I would like to say about Timeless Isle. I think it was great.
I'd like to see more iterations.
Because they can't keep doing the same each time because then it'll get boring. It's kind of like what people are up in arms about, the new little like short-lived versions of games you can play in League of Legends that Riot's doing, like the All for One, where you can have 5-on-5 of the same character. So you have 10 of the same character in one match, or 5 of one, 5 of the other. But they only put it out for like 2 weeks and it was done because it was awesome when it was there. And now they're doing the Snowdown Showdown, where you can do 1v1s or 2v2s, and in a while it'll be gone forever. And those are good for when they last because they're really, really fun. But if they keep them forever, they'd be boring. So if we had timeless isle after timeless isle after timeless isle, it'd be boring.
Well, it's true, but also, too, with dailies, it's a funny thing. One of my big complaints was they added gear, so you kind of were required to do it. But there's a funny thing, though, about people, is that even if it's not required, if they see that blue arrow, they have to do it. Even though it's not required, you just have to do it. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's a story that I always like to tell about dailies, is that I was really angry that they put gear rewards on Exalted. I was okay with gear rewards on Revered. I was going to get everything to Revered. I thought that putting the ring on Exalted was across the line for me. So I was really mad. I got Klaxi to Exalted. It was very painful. I made some of my guildmates do it with me. I had multiple memories of going to sleep, getting up back out of bed, going to my computer and doing my stupid Klaxi dailies, and then going to sleep, which is awful. So months after this happened, I said to myself, I love mounts. And WoW, mounts are my thing that I collect. I don't collect a lot, but I love mounts. There are a couple of sweet mounts off of dailies. And then I did those dailies to get those mounts, and that was actually a very enjoyable experience because I wanted the reward, and that was a choice that I made. So that was really that really encapsulated my daily experience, where I thought it was awful when I needed to get the raid gear at the very beginning of the expansion, but when it was a vanity reward, I thought that gating vanity rewards behind reputation is just fine.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's good. That was like the reverse Ana Rage. That was like Ana-centered, Ana-focused.
Yeah, but I actually really enjoyed it. I thought the August Celestials mount, isn't that the red one with the lightning? That one's beautiful. And the Shadowpan mount is black. And I actually really enjoyed, and I enjoyed that I couldn't just walk up and buy them. It took me weeks, and I didn't do the dailies every day. I just did them when I remembered, and then I loved getting those mounts. And the Shadowpan hat too.
Special hat.
Yes.
That's awesome.
You see, chat room, Pat and Olivia were talking about how they're not dailies, but garrisons in 6.0. Because it's like a mini game inside your game. You basically kind of play like a micro version of Warcraft 3. It's very much actually like a Wii game that's called My Life is King. It's a Final Fantasy-oriented game where you make a town and you make dudes, and the dudes go out and do stuff for you, and you sit there and wait. So like that's going to be a lot of extra fun. And if that serves a niche of doing dailies, that would be great, because it'll be a lot more accessible to people in a really fun way. So we'll see if what they mix in with that whole thing. Yep. So this one, next question. We have one more serious question, then an awesome question. We have this one comes in from
all questions are awesome.
All questions. Well, I don't know. Oh goodness me. This comes from Marilee asks. This is kind of more toward Brutall, since I don't raid lead. That's the wrong question. Whoops. Mrs. Marilee's question: what was the most difficult aspect of raid leading in Mists? Is anything easier or harder versus previous expansions?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good question. I mean, easier or harder? I think as you lead and as you develop yourself as a leader over the course of whether it's you want to classify it as an expansion or the game as a whole, you find that things change every single tier with you as a person, with your guild, and so on and so forth. I can't say it's gotten any easier per se, but I've definitely matured and come to understand things at a much deeper level. So I guess that kind of makes it easier in and of itself. You come to realize that you don't need to make a big deal out of a lot of the stuff you used to make a big deal out of whenever you thought you knew something, or you thought you were better than you actually were. Once you realize that a lot of it boils down to self-awareness and people being aware of what they need to be doing and whatnot, it becomes a bit easier, because you can help develop your raiders, you can help get them to stay focused on what they need to do to improve themselves, and then your guild improves as a whole. As for raiding in Mists of Pandaria, I thoroughly enjoyed raid leading and guild leading this entire expansion, because it was just really enjoyable content that I could sink my teeth into. But definitely, it's just the maturing factor, both as a person and as a raid leader.
Okay.
Well, I could go a little further with that question.
Sure.
Did you? Were there any quality of life changes that were made that made it easier or harder for you to raid lead? I know that healer balance is one of those things where when you're setting up a raid, it can be extremely frustrating to balance a raid between having 8 healers and having 3. Were there differences in this expansion in terms of raid composition that made life easier or harder for you as a guild leader, or was it pretty much the same as Cataclysm?
It was similar to Cataclysm, at least it was for me. We had fights like Hard Mode Ragnaros and Firelands to where Static 3 healed it, and we had, I think, 7 or 8 healers in the roster that time.
Yep.
And we're doing something very similar to Heroic Garage. We're currently 4 healing. We could really
I was going to ask how many healers you were using on Garage.
We could be 3 healing it, but we're 4 healing it. And it sucks because I have a Mistweaver Monk, and while I don't think Mistweaver Monks are amazing right now, he's been sitting for a month now because that's how long we've been progressing on Hard Mode Garage, because we're bad, apparently. And it sucks for him because he's an incredibly nice guy, and he's really good at his job, and you know the drill. But he's sitting, and so is another Shaman in our guild, and so is a Druid in our guild, and you get the idea. So it sucks when you have to balance that. It absolutely sucks, absolutely.
Yeah. That's probably the only difference right now. And that's been something that's really weird, is that's probably one of the drawbacks I've seen in Tier 16, is you have fights that are 5, 6 heal, which is standard, and 25 man anyway. And then you get to Thok, you need 8, at least at first. And then you get to Garrosh, and you need 3 to 4.
Yep.
So those huge swings, at least for the healer core, have to be a pain in the butt. And then depending on what you play, more or less, if you're not a Disc Priest right now, then have fun warming that bench, because they've swayed the healer, and that absorbing damage and not taking it is so much more than effective health than just healing it burstily because of how the raids have So that was kind of an issue. And
it's a bummer for us as well, because our officer healer, I don't really want to say lead healer because we don't really organize our raid like that, but our officer, who is a healer who sets up all of our rotations and things like that and takes the lead in our healer core, is a druid, and he plays a lot of other classes as well, but I know he really loves his druid, and it sucks because he basically sat himself on Garrosh. He'll set all of the cooldown rotations up, and then I'll ask him like in Mumble what we're doing, and he's not in the raid. And it's a bummer to see that kind of thing. What if he was playing a Disc Priest? Then there would be no problem, right?
Right, exactly, exactly. Completely different.
More Disc Priests. That's the world needs.
Yeah, it happens with Perfect Imbalance and how the game changes, and that happens with other classes too, not just healers. But right now,
it happens with melee.
I mean, because of the sway of these bosses we've had in Tier 16, it's been rough on them a lot. So
has it been more so in this latest tier than others?
I don't think so. I mean, I asked that question to see if Brutall had a different answer than me, but I don't think that this talk of 8 healers to 3 healers, this is a literal copy of what we said about Tier 13, because you had Zanaz needed 8. Zanaz needed 8, and there was a 3 healed fight in there too, and I don't remember which one it was. Maybe you guys can remind me. But
you could have 3 healed Traxian.
Yes, that was it. You had to drop healers for all Traxian. So this is like exactly the same as what we said in Tier 13. So
do you think this will happen then with Mythic raiding then in Warlords?
I think with Mythic raiding, and this is complete conjecture on my part, I don't know this, I would not be surprised if we saw 2 to 3 heal fights. I would not be surprised at all. And that's kind of crazy to think about, but it's
difficult to prevent it.
Yeah, it is.
It's insanely difficult to prevent it, because what you end up doing is you end up balancing around the most skilled healers in the world and the raid that makes it easiest for those healers to do their job, and then that becomes the strat, like the 3 heal strat on Rag. That becomes the strat that everybody adopts, even though that's not the right strat for every raid.
Correct.
And how do you, if you put more damage in so that very top healer team has to burn 4, then it becomes unhealable for even the US 40 and 50 guilds. I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah. Nope, that's totally right.
Woo!
And Hypno brings it up in chat real quick before we get to the last question, is, it's also this huge raid cooldown issue, where do you want them on the healers? Do you want them on the raid? Because if you drop healers, you still need your raid cooldown, so do you put them on other people? But then if you don't do that, fights that you use more people and more healers, they're super easy because you have so many more raid cooldowns.
Yep.
So, like, what do you... I thought they said that Mythic might be 4 healer balanced. Aren't 4 healers.
Well, that may help, because the 25 is going to bring more
raid cooldowns than a 10,
Yeah.
and therefore you can get away with less healers because you're going to mitigate more damage.
Yep.
So perhaps the fact that they're going to be balancing Mythic around just one raid size and that raid cooldowns
Yep.
will be tuned down is what we all hope, although it hasn't
Yeah.
been confirmed publicly, then perhaps they will more effectively be able to tune those around having 4 healers in the raid.
We'll definitely have to see. I mean, we're all super excited for 6.0. Obviously, I think
my
we've gone over
goodness.
that enough times during the show itself. So.
Just a little.
All right, last question before we get out of here. This question, I oopsie daisied it because I have them misplaced on the overall here. All right, so this comes in from past Brutal to future Brutal.
Me? What?
This is past Brutal informing future Brutal that you're welcome for planting the idea of going to Taco Bell before your show airs so that you can enjoy the show on a full belly. I love when past Brutal sets future Brutal up for success. I just realized this isn't a question. So, how was your Crunchwrap Supreme box?
Oh, it was so good. Oh, it was so good.
That is awesome.
Wow. I feel good right now.
You have
Not
no
gonna
idea.
lie. I feel good. I
Wow.
feel good.
It's
Let me
awfully
just
nice
say
of Past Brutal.
that past Brutal was a brilliant man for setting me up for success. Absolutely, undoubtedly. My hats off to him. Hats off to him.
Yes.
That was good.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
I had to end the show on that note. This has been an interesting episode. It's been a lot of fun. I'm pushing the button.
This is great. We
Oh,
got
my
streaming,
goodness.
we got time travel, we got like past interacting with future, Brutal. It's unbelievable.
We do. I don't even know what's going on right now. I
That's awesome.
just don't even know. We've got Anna is in Honduras right now. We've got Brutal eating tacos during the show. Show's crashing left and right. I don't know what this vault
That's
could
right.
even look like. But you guys in the
Koltrane's
chat room right
wearing
now.
orange
You know what?
sunglasses.
The show goes on, Bay. The show
Oh, I
goes
know.
on.
And the chat room, you guys were amazing tonight. We had so many. They have a couple times they were like, "There's so many cameos tonight." It was weird. Like people are that like famous enough to have cameos in their chat room. It was awesome. Thank you all guys again. Anna, you're across the world right now, but thank you for being here.
I am, and just so that the chat room knows, those of us who stuck through all the way through the show, I am going to record a video here because I'm really bummed out I couldn't do it. I couldn't do the show on video. I tried really hard, but the internet just wasn't strong enough. So I'm going to record a video, like a vlog, which I've never done before, but I'd like to do it here from Honduras to show you guys the kind of cool stuff that I did, and just say hi to all the Final Boss viewers, and I'll upload it to the Final Boss YouTube. It won't be until next week though, when I'm back where I have actual first world internet.
What?
A vlog. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
a vlog, yeah.
Vlog.
Is it a vlog? Is that what people call it? I don't
Either
know because
one.
I've never done one. It always struck me as a very
I would.
self-congratulatory thing to do. But I love other people's vlogs, though. I don't want to judge anyone who does them because
I
they're
would
cool.
say that the rest of the world probably calls it vlog. Yeah, that's just.
It's a vlog. Okay. Well, I'm going to do
Probably.
one of those things. I'd like to do one.
Oh, as well, Mr. Brutal with the puppy. Who's the puppy in your lap right now?
So this is Daisy. This is my dog. My wife's dog is around here somewhere. Look at her. She's beautiful, isn't she?
Oh,
That's
come
my
on.
puppy.
Look at that face.
That's my puppy. Yeah, but this is Daisy. I love her dearly. And you know what? I gotta find the fat one. Hold on one second.
Oh
What?
my goodness. Well, while Brutal finds the fat one, you can go find Brutal on Brutal Static. 2 L's on YouTube. He's apparently doesn't know where. Oh,
Come on.
we found
Oh,
it.
here we
Jump.
go.
Jump. There she is.
Yeah.
There she is.
Yeah.
Look at her. Look at her. She's the cutest. This is the loving dog right here. Daisy loves me. She doesn't really like many other people, so
And that is who? Oh,
she agrees.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
But thank you
How
again
about-
for being here, Brutal. It was awesome. Your beard
Thanks for
in,
Dude, a sheer pleasure. I appreciate you putting up with me. So
not at all. As well, chat room is asking for Koltrane to do one more fortune cookie. Do you have it in you, sir?
All right. Fortune cookie say, man who fart in church, sit in own pew. Huh? Huh?
Oh, that's terrible.
Yes.
You are awful.
Yeah.
In a very wonderful way. Wouldn't have missed it for the world.
No, I really appreciate you guys having me on. This was an absolute blast. And as always, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And great show. Final boss. It's
Yes.
so great. So thank
yes.
Well, you can
Glad to
find
be a
out
part.
more. Again, convert to raid. Go over there at convertraid.com and find more about Koltrane on _Koltrane on Twitter. Woo! Perfectly awesome. And then, of course, there's my face, which has been probably gifted in some other weird way tonight with all the freezing that's been going on. Yeah. I want to see those. Send them at me on Twitter, but I'm over on twitch.tv, BayTLM. That's where you usually find me outside of this. And there goes the... Let me pause real quick. I'm just kidding. Okay, we are going to see if an after show is going to happen. But so stick around for that. And if you are going to be here next week, our first show of 2014 is going to be... Boomkins. The Thunder Chickens are coming. Zoomkins of Blood Legion and Sios of Promethean will also be here. So Boomkins next week to get right back on the horse of doing class episodes. So Boomkins, Boomkins, Boomkins. We'll see you there next week. 1 p.m. PST, 4 p.m. EST, and 10 CET right here on Final Boss TV. For everyone behind the scenes, all the mini bosses, thank you very much for being here, you guys. Have a great night. And we will see you. Bye-bye.
See you guys later.
Bye.